And this is a big Saturday for jockey Dylan Davis. Victory number 4.
Leaving, no doubt. Dylan Davis running up the score in the standings, and he's already clinched Davis this season's Aqueduct Winter Riding Champ. That's right, it's closing day. Closing day feature is the 82nd running of the East View Stakes for New York breds. That's the filly to catch. That's the filly to beat. Yo Cuz, even money morning line favorite in the Sunday feature at the Big A. And in Hot Springs, Arkansas, Oaklawn Park. By the time we say goodbye this evening, the field for next Saturday's Arkansas Derby will be in place. Where will the filly break from? Secret Oath, just 6. For the love of the race, visit Aqueduct Racetrack. I'm Lafitte Pincay. That's right, closing day at the Big A, but we're not going anywhere. Right back on Thursday for opening day of the spring meet, a 15-day spring meet, and then a week from Saturday, it is New York signature prep for the Kentucky Derby, the Wood Memorial. As for today's racing, 3.5 hours right here on Fox Sports 1. Take a look at the schedule brought to you by Claiborne Farm. Lots going on. Late pick 5 on tap, Aqueduct. East View Stakes in the 8th. Oaklawn races 3 through 9. Headline event is the $806,000 sprint for Arkansas bred fillies and mares, and Tampa Bay Downs 3 stakes races, including the NYRA Bets Sprint. So I welcome in my co-host, New York Racing Association analyst Andy Serling. Andy, 3.5 more hours together today.
No, actually, I only have 2:45 with you.
That's it.
So it's bad for you, but good for me. I'll be leaving a little
I'm not
bit
doing that again.
It's great for you guys. You get Maggie. You get Maggie for the last 45 minutes. And what could be better when I morph into Maggie? That's a break for everyone.
This winter meet, Andy, what would you say would be the overriding the theme of the meet, this winter meet at Aqueduct?
Obviously it's the winter, and it's not going to be our strongest racing, to say the least. And you have a day like yesterday that celebrated a lot of the claimers, and you have a lot of the bread and butter claimers throughout the winter. But I also think you saw some very good quality racing throughout the winter. And I think one of the things that epitomizes that is that Clarvett Stables, who habitually is one of our leading owners, if not the leading owner at many of our meets, never won a winter meet title here, poised as a very likely winter meet title holder this year, in front by 2 with 2 solid horses in the rest of the card. And they didn't win with claiming types. They won allowance races. They won with Nice Maidens, early voting, who could be one of the favorites, if not the favorite in the Wood Memorial. So for them to win a title the way they did, it says something, I think, about the quality overall of the winter meet here.
And we do have a featured event on this closing day, the East View. Lots of history, 82nd running. Here's the field. New York bred 3-year-old fillies sprinting 7/8 of a mile. $100,000 purse. Number 5, Yo Cuz. Even money morning line favorite. Number 3, Stone Creator. 2-1 second choice, Andy. This will not be the first time they met. February 21st, right here, Aqueduct in the Mattie May. Stone Creator cannot stick with Yo Cuz.
I think it's going to change today. I think you're going to see a very different result today. Well, the difference between this race today and the last 2 races for Yo Cuz, and I will acknowledge she's the worst to beat, even though I think there's a very good chance that Stone Creator beats her today, Yo Cuz is not controlling this race. You've got more speed from the 4 Sandy's Garden inside of her, and you've definitely got more speed from Norris and the Rail, Silver Fist. So while she gets a good post on the outside to stalk the speed, she won't be controlling. So she may not have that same advantage as she did in her last start. And I also think there's a real chance that Stone Creator is improving. Worked very well last time out, so I'm going to take her to upset Yo Cuz.
Yo Cuz, though, so lightly raced, so inexperienced, just 3 career starts. Isn't it a little premature to assume that she cannot win if she's not dictating?
Well, I'm not assuming she can't win. I think she probably can win. But she has won her last 2 by controlling on the front end, and she's going to face different circumstances today. So for a horse that's going to be a very short price, I think it makes her a bit vulnerable, and I think in that situation, it may play more into the hands of Stone Creator, and at a better price, I'll find out.
Feature today, Aqueduct, a little bit later on this afternoon as we welcome in Hall of Fame jockey Gary Stevens at Oaklawn Park. Gary, welcome to the show. Earlier today, they drew the field for Oaklawn's signature race in the $1.25 million Arkansas Derby. The field going in, and the big story, the big filly, 3-year-old filly, Secret Oath, taking on the boys.
Yeah, Secret Oath taking on the boys, getting her biggest test she's had up to this time. Been facing fillies. She's been doing it in hand, winning the way she wants to. Won her last 3 races by combined 27.5 lengths. She's going to get tested on Saturday. Doppelganger. Once in Bob Baffert's barn, will be coming out now in Tim Yakteens. He will be racing for points for the first time, trying to qualify for the Kentucky Derby. We the People, he drew the extreme outside the 9, good post position for him. Excited about watching him race and be tested for the first time. He's also won in hand with his first 2 races. He's won by a total of 11.5 lengths, guys. It should be a good one.
And Gary, Ricardo Santana, 8-time leading Oaklawn champion rider, not riding in the Arkansas Derby. He has won one prior, Creator, a few years back. His day today, we associate him with the Steve Asmussen stable. Now we're seeing him ride for a lot more different trainers out at Oaklawn.
Yeah, he's riding 5 different horses, day riding. One of the favorites in the 8th race are featured today, a state-bred fillies, optional claiming 16. And it's amazing right now what Ricardo is doing. He's 3rd in the standings right now with 37 wins. Leading rider has 48, so he's still in the hunt there. But the amazing part is he is leading all jockeys in earnings with over $2.7 million. So at the end of the day, when you get to a certain point, you're more worried about that purse earnings than you are at wins at the end of the day. I'm sure he'd love to be leading rider, but at the end of the day, he's going to be traveling, riding some horses at Keeneland, is opening up the first week in April here in just a couple weeks. So I live next door to Ricardo. We're very good friends. His head's in the right place right now. I've never seen him so relaxed. He's enjoying himself. He's still riding some horses for Steve, and he's enjoying what's going on. Lafitte.
Ricardo Santana, again, not riding in the Arkansas Derby. The field's run earlier today. We'll have much more on the Arkansas Derby throughout the course of the show. Andy, that story going in, though, Secret Oath. Your thoughts on her chances? For trainer Dwayne Lucas, who's won a Derby with the filly. He's won an Arkansas Derby with the filly, Althea, back in 1984. What do you make of her as an individual moving forward and her chances on Saturday?
Well, I mean, I think she's probably, if not favored, the co-favorite with We the People in the Arkansas Derby. Let's be honest, it is not the strongest and deepest field. And they are clearly the 2 big names. They're also, one of them coming from allowance race, only run twice, We the People. Secret Oath is kind of the story. And she makes the Arkansas Derby a much more interesting race than it would have been without her. I think I haven't seen the PPs, but she's probably the likeliest winner. I don't want to tie myself to a horse at this point. I'll be honest with you. I'm skeptical whether she's really a horse that's best suited to running in the Derby. She's probably better off than Kentucky Oaks. And we'll see. Wayne Lucas has not said just because she wins the Derby, he's going to run her there. Wins the Arkansas Derby, he'll run them.
Speaking of Derby preps, Chad Brown has a good one. In Zandon, Bluegrass Bound. We'll have much more on the 3-year-old preps when we come back. And for trainer Chad Brown, an incredible meet. The stats are ridiculous. Putting up huge numbers. And when we come back, Brown running a pair of live first-time starters in the 5th at Aqueduct. Just getting started on America's Day at the Races.
A Grade 1 winner of nearly $2 million, Silver State hails from the sire line of legendary Claiborne stallion Danzig. And his second dam is full sister to Kentucky Derby winner Monarchos. After winning the Oaklawn Handicap, Silver State defeated Knicks Go in the Grade 1 Metropolitan Handicap. On the board in 12 of 14 starts from ages 2 to 4, his career included a 6-race winning streak. Grade 1 winner Silver State, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Great to have you with us on a Sunday afternoon. America's Day at the Races is always brought to you in part by NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime with NYRA Bets. Sign up now to earn bonuses at Tampa Bay Downs, Santa Anita Park today. Get started at nyrabets.com or download the app. Another perk of becoming a member of the Showdown. Play against your friends, fellow fans with the Showdown. Free to enter handicapping contests following the New York racing on our program. Place your picks now and watch your name climb the leaderboard to earn real prizes. Get started at NYRA.com/showdown. Back at Oaklawn Park, gorgeous Sunday afternoon. Gearing up for the third race, field and updated odds. Scratch number 3, Big Fudge. Scratch number 5 as well. Current favorite down at the bottom, 5-2. Number 8, Can't Imagine. Starter allowance, 1 mile event for older horses. Andy, your thoughts going in?
Well, I'm not betting against the 6-5 favorite off the claim for Chris Hartman. I've seen how his horses are running at Oaklawn, and seems to me he's a guy you need to get away from his get out of the way of his horses. They are running huge. Horse ran 84 Beyer last time out at Oaklawn Park in a much easier spot, but claim by Hartman seems logical. Pace changed, though. The pace did change the scratch of Big Fudge.
Yep.
Now, that's not going to hurt Verrazano First, the 4, because he can be forwardly placed. It probably helps, though, the 8. Can't Imagine, who's stretching out from 6 furlongs, and it makes him a little more dangerous.
Verrazano First, he knows how to win. 7-time winner and 19 career starts. One of those right here at Oaklawn. And the heavy favorite now, 3-5. If for whatever reasons he hasn't,
That's crazy. He was just
Chris Hartman
6-5. They got some late punches there at Oaklawn. I'm not betting him at 3-5, but I'm not betting against him
if
either.
he's having an off day, if he stubs his toe, if he just doesn't show up for some reason, who is the logical pivot? Is there one?
I would probably go towards the 8 as to control, because if he doesn't run his race, the 8 may just wire the field.
Can Imagine to the outside, see how it unfolds. Wow, Verrazano First after the claim, Chris Hartman, and 3-5 odds on it post time. Vic Stauffer with the call, race 3 live, Oaklawn Park.
They're at the post. They're off. Can't Imagine broke beautifully and goes to the front from Verrazano First, who is speedy as well. Awesome Saturday and Barefoot Bootlegger are next, then Moliere, and the early trailer is First Line. Can Imagine and Verrazano First. Can't Imagine race riding a bit at the clubhouse turn is Elvin Gonzalez, and he has Verrazano First in a tough spot at the rail. Meanwhile, Awesome Saturday is 3 deep in third and less than a length and a half from the front. Then it's 3 back to Barefoot Bootlegger and Moliere. They've both got about 5 lengths to make up. The trailer is First Line up the backstretch they run, and Can Imagine and Verrazano First are still 1-2. Midway on the backstretch, finish line is the 16th pole. Can Imagine ahead in front. Verrazano First is up in there, and he'll race in second, and only that neck off the lead. Then comes Awesome Saturday. He's gotten the best trip, and he's in perfect striking position. David Cabrera sitting chilly on Awesome Saturday, 3rd and a length and a quarter from the front. First Line is out of last place. He runs up 4 deep in 4th with Moliere and Barefoot Bootlegger. Many chances around the far turn. Verrazano First has put ahead in front of Can Imagine. Awesome Saturday comes 3 deep. He's within a length of the lead. First Line advanced up into 4th, but now he's flattening out a bit. Verrazano First off the top of the turn leads. Awesome Saturday outside of Can Imagine is now 2nd. First Line is back in 4th, and here is Awesome Saturday outside of Verrazano First. Verrazano First, a length and a half in front. Awesome Saturday is 2nd. First Line might get into 3rd. Verrazano First in front. Verrazano First won by 2 1/4. Awesome Saturday was 2nd. Close for 3rd. Maybe First Line over Can Imagine.
Ears tell the story. Verrazano First, and that Chris Hartman first after the claim. Magic does it again.
Yeah, he's a freight train. You just need to get out of his way. And this horse, he got pushed a little bit up front, but the pace did sort of hold together. Nice improved performance by Awesome Saturday, actually, who hadn't run well since last year. He ran okay, finishing 2nd this race.
Results forthcoming. Horses in the paddock. 5th at Aqueduct. Promising maiden race. 3-year-old fillies. 3/4 mile sprint. Welcome in Maggie Wolfendale standing by in the paddock. Maggie, this is where we lean on you most. What are you seeing in the paddock?
Yeah, Lafitte, these kind of races are my jam. As we'll take a look, though, at the 2 livest looking first-time starters. And sometimes, it's not necessarily the individual. It's more who fits the billing first time out. And We'll take a look at number 3, Run Up the Score. Daughter of Lord Nelson, who I must say is only a 2% sire with his first-time starters. That's about the worst percentage I've seen as far as sire statistics go. But in assessing all of these firsters, she is the one that looks as though the 6 furlongs and at first asking is going to work. She's a little bit smaller, she's handier and athletic, and she just looks like a sprinter. She's well prepared. I wish she looked a little bit better in her coat, but that's kind of typical with Chad Brown horses for whatever reason. Over the winter, it doesn't usually seem to matter that much, but she's very professional. She is laid back. I'll watch her and how she behaves out on the racetrack, but you know, it's kind of, I prefer her stablemate as an individual a bit more than her, just because Beaux-Arts has a little bit more substance to her. But let's look at the Bill Mott firster on the outside. That is Clararific, daughter of Connect, and overall maybe there's not much production in the first generation, but going back there's a little bit more, and maybe a little bit more with distance. And that's the same feeling I get with Connects. And I really like her as an individual. She's pretty, she's scopy, she has a lot of length to her frame. And I appreciate that. And she's very fit and she's well turned out, especially for a filly who has spent her entire winter here in New York. Great, rich, hydrated coat to her, very smart looking filly, has handled herself well. I'm just worried that 6 furlongs might be on the shorter side for her, but I do like what I'm seeing from her just from that overall perspective, Lafitte.
So how will she handle the sprint in her debut? Clararific, Maggie, she is live on the board. Second choice, Andy, at 2-1.
I wonder if a lot of people see Jose Ortiz riding this horse and they think that what a good sign that is. And it doesn't mean it's not a bad sign, but he is here to ride for the same barn. Yo Cousin the feature. I'm just impressed how quickly Jose got here
riding
from
in Dubai yesterday.
Yep. Not just yesterday. What about 26 and a half hours ago he was riding in Dubai?
No substitute for youth, Andy. No substitute for youth.
I don't remember my youth, but I'm going to have to take your word for it. It's a long time ago, Lafitte.
Jose Ortiz rode Midnight Bourbon. Yesterday's Dubai World Cup looked like the brothers at the top of the stretch were going to hook up Life is Good with Irad. Jose Ortiz, Midnight Bourbon. We'll recap the Dubai World Cup a little bit later on in the show. First things first, post parade for these 3-year-old fillies, and we start with Baby Man, pictured 14-1.
A daughter of Birdsong. We saw a very fast Birdsong win at Oaklawn yesterday. This one, third foal from the dam.
Beaux-Arts, 7-1, Manny Franco.
Half to horse named Nocturnal, who ran pretty well for Todd Pletcher down in Florida. We'll see. This horse has been working well.
Peter Brandt owned first-time starter, then number 3, Run Up the Score. Seth Klarman owned debuting filly.
Unusual to see 2 Chad Brown first-time starters, and they're the third and fourth choices in this race. Maggie had some good things to say.
Everyone loves Linda, 9-5 favorite. Dylan Davis ready to celebrate his first ever New York Racing Association riding title.
She might win this race, and she's been consistent. But she's consistently running races that are going to mean everybody else in this race, barring a trip, all the firsters, are disappointing.
Always Aware, Colt Next Stable debuting, homebred.
Yeah, I think there might be a little bit more turf, at least on the dam side. It'll be interesting to see what this one does and where she goes next.
Good morning, Angel. Very just even, geared in her first pair.
They can name her Good Morning Angel. Somebody needs to wake her up because so far she's been a little slow.
Not much in her first pair. Number 8, Clararific, Iron Horse Racing Stable, debuting filly.
Bill Mott, when he has success with 3-year-old firsters, they're almost always with fillies. He has much more success than the colts. Taking the money has to be a good sign, and the horse shows a couple of nice works.
Post-parade, the field there for this upcoming 5th race at Aqueduct. 4 minutes out. We welcome Jonathan Kinchin to the show from Saratoga. JK, we were just looking at Beaux-Arts, the other Chad Brown trained filly, cold on the board, 7-1.
Yeah, cold, but I would say, you know, obviously the other one's taking a little bit of money for Chad, the 3-horse, and then there's the horses like the 4 Everyone Loves Linda, who's got experience and has speed figures that make everyone just kind of grab.
Lost connection with Jonathan. I blame you, Andy.
His airplane just may have left the space.
Plugging like subtitles. The handicappers are on the edge of their seat waiting for his information. Jonathan had the...
He seemed to like the 2. I like the 3.
He did.
Well, I like Run Up the Score.
9-2 Run Up the Score. Beaux-Arts 7-1. JK hitting that $1,400 cross-country pick 5 yesterday. And the thing...
What have you done for me lately, world? With a loser today, that's all for me.
Not even a 24-hour cushion.
No.
About the numbers, the stats. from Chad Brown this winter here at Aqueduct.
Remarkable. And you know, the other thing about it is he's got 4 seconds and 3/3. So they've come over ready to win, and almost every one of them is winning. He's had a couple of tough-nosed defeats here and there. Everybody's that way. But for the most part, when they have shown up, they have won. He's left the right horses here, and you know, he participates a lot during our winter meet. And listen, a lot of those wins, I think 10 of them are for Claremont Stables as well. So
batting 480, Andy, like unheard of anywhere.
Well, he started out like gangbusters. Not just he's winning here. He's been winning down in Florida, whether it's Tampa or Gulfstream as well. And I think, you know, last year was a little bit of a down year for Chad Brown. Not that he had a bad year. He was still a finalist for the Eclipse Award for top trainer. But he lost some good horses going into last year. It's tough. And while he had a good year and he won Saratoga, it wasn't, by his standards, as good. He's starting out very well this year. And if things continue as they are and he can build on that, he can get back to being the Eclipse Award winning trainer he was a few years in a row. Until 2 years ago.
Get back to Maggie.
Taking a look at one of those Chad Brown horses, and I touched on her a little bit in the paddock, but like I said, as an individual, I really like Beaux-Arts, but she was entered 2 weeks ago when we canceled racing, and I liked her in that spot. She's not taking as much money. Well, actually, she's the same price as her uncoupled stablemate. I can see her running well here, to be honest, but maybe if I'm splitting hairs and comparing the two, it just feels as though that run up the score just looks a touch more fit. In the end, Beaux-Arts might turn out to be a better horse. It just feels like on the day that the 3 is just a little bit more ready, but then I say that knowing that Beaux-Arts was apparently ready 2 weeks ago too. So I'm really interested, and you can see she's just been acting a little bit green, just a little bit spunky in the paddock and with the pony, but I kind of like that with the fillies, as the Dam only by night is a half to multiple grade 1 winning dirt router Carolina. Moving on to some others, Baby Man. They paid a lot for this filly considering she's by Birdsong out of very much a Mary Lou Whitney stable pedigree. She looks as though she wants to run longer than this, and that's kind of the impression I got after watching, albeit a year ago, her 21-1 quarter-mile work at the OBS Sales. Covers the ground nicely, but has a stride of a horse that wants to run longer than the 6 furlongs. And plus, fitness-wise, looks as though she'll benefit from a start. As number 5, Always Aware, I don't love the fact she has so many gate breezes going in here. Now, you can watch some of her workouts from Palm Meadows on XBTV, and she, in those few, which were a while back, was very slow out of the gate. But watching her other breezes from the pole, she does hit the ground nicely. She moves quite sweetly and always in hand, but she's another one that gives the impression that longer might be better, being a daughter of Street Sense. I will say, though, that on the bottom side, there is some sprint pedigree. She is well prepared from just looking at her from a fitness standpoint, but doesn't seem that live on the board. Lafitte?
And perhaps like Clarerific, Maggie, longer the better moving forward. Something to watch right from the start. Andy, Always Aware how she gets away from the starting gate this afternoon in her debut. Our handicappers run up to score. Andy and Maggie, Jonathan going with Beaux-Arts, the Chad Brown trained fillies, and another trainer having a big meet. Once again, Rudy Rodriguez with the first-time starter Baby Man. 3rd straight winter Aqueduct training title for Rudy Rodriguez.
He basically blew this meet away. I mean, Chad Brown obviously had a very good meet, and from a number standpoint, incredible that he had 2/3 as many wins, but Rudy's been consistent throughout the meet, doing well. Rob Atras did well to finish 2nd for the title, just ahead of Chad Brown, assuming, depending on what happens today, but I think he's enough ahead that he'll get it. But Rudy, congratulations to him. Not his first title, but Dylan Davis's first.
So is this surprising to you, 9-5 here, Clarerific?
No.
No?
No, there were a lot of stories in this horse. I think the horse was 5-2 morning line.
Yep.
And, you know, there's good work showing. Jose on the horse, not surprised at all. Not going to be surprised when she wins, but I like run up the score.
These 3-year-old fillies, this is all about potential moving forward. Maiden special weight, good $80,000 per 6 furlong sprint. Baby Man, all new for her. Always something to watch for. The first-time starters, how they behave the first time they actually do it in the afternoon. And she is a little hesitant. She'll be coaxed forward. Jose Gomez, the apprentice who you've sung high praise of, and already 2 wins on the afternoon. Has his hands full here with Baby Man, though, trying to get her into the starting gate.
I think he's one of the big stories that comes out of this winter. And we've often seen, I mean, winter is a time we learn about apprentices. You know, the days of the inner track, it was even a trickier track to ride. Now we're on the main all winter. But I think every winter you see an apprentice. Sometimes they're decent, sometimes it's you know, not particularly inspiring. It's been clear for a long time. And this kid got through his 10-pound apprentice about as fast as any rider I've ever seen. Amazing.
Looking for a third on the afternoon, Gomez, Baby Man. The Chad Brown trained fillies are in. Bozar and Run Up the Score. Always Aware. All those gate works. How will she break this afternoon in her debut? Good Morning Angel moves forward. Favorite to the outside for the Hall of Famer Bill Mott. Clarerific, all set for her debut. 9-5 at post time. John Imbriat with the call. 5th race live from the Big A.
And they're off. From the inside, Baby Man is hustled out for the early lead. Bozarts is racing in second. Clarerific now ranges up on the outside into third. Then it's Always Aware next in fourth. Everyone Loves Linda is rallying down at the rail. It's a half dozen lengths back to the 2 trailers. Run Up the Score and Good Morning Angel. Baby Man, long shot, first-time starter, is the leader here by a length. Bozarts in second after a quarter in 23 seconds. Everyone Loves Linda down at the rail. Clarerific is on the outside. Always Aware in between horses and running in 5th. It's 5 lengths. Back to Run Up the Score in the trailer. Good Morning Angel. Still Baby Man, Bozarts. They are 1-2 at the top of the stretch. Clarerific is on the outside of Everyone Loves Linda as they turn for home. It is still Baby Man with a narrow lead. Bozarts is all out in second. Baby Man in front, now getting away to lead by 2.5 lengths. Bozarts in second, farther back Clarerific, and Everyone Loves Linda, and then Run Up the Score. It is Baby Man in front. Baby Man is a big price here. Baby Man by 2.5, Bozarts second, and it will be Baby Man. And Jose Gomez, the apprentice, has his 3rd win today.
Gomez continuing to impress, as does Baby Man. Threw a little bit of a tantrum before she loaded. All business on the track. Broke sharp, never looked back, graduates in her debut, and back-to-back upsets on the Sunday card at Aqueduct.
Yeah, we'll be looking at a pick 6 carryover for Thursday's card here at Aqueduct. And she was professional. It felt like Bozart got outside of her and, you know, was probably going to go by her coming into the stretch, but Baby Man was having nothing to do with it. And it did seem like a race where first-timers would probably dominate. They did, just one that wasn't really bet. Very disappointing effort by Clarerific. And, you know, not surprisingly, Eric Hansel, trouble coming out of the gate on Run Up the Score, who would have been much closer had she had a different rider.
Broke poorly, Run Up the Score. You see the Peter Brent colors there in Bozar. A little bit of wandering in the stretch. Could not close that gap on Baby Man. Michael Dubb, Michael Caruso, this first-time starter by Birdsong. Jose Gomez, 3 wins this afternoon, 15-1. 1, 2, 3, 8 in this 5th race at Aqueduct. We'll have those results when we come back. Also, what a meet for this rider. David Cabrera finished 2nd in the chase for an Oaklawn riding title last year. Right now, he's in front. Stakes win yesterday and well mounted in the upcoming 4th race aboard 501.
Introducing a stallion, as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus buyer speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Run Happy was a #1 second crop sire by graded stakes winners and earnings. Run Happy is represented by Smile Happy, the Kentucky Derby individual future pool favorite. a leading dirt sire, and now with an exciting Kentucky Derby hopeful. Call Bernie Sams now and book your mare to Eclipse Champion Run Happy right now. Run Happy standing in stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
Great to have you with us on a Sunday afternoon. You're watching America's Day at the Races, as always, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years doing the usual, unusually well. Those beautiful scenics out from Claiborne Farm, and a beautiful sight for trainer Rudy Rodriguez, pictured earbuds in. Just captured his 3rd consecutive Aqueduct Winter Training title and had Baby Man Andy cranked up and ready to roll. 32-40.
Yeah, I'm glad we threw in how well the rider and trainer were going beforehand. This just worked okay at the 2-year-old sale, but it took a long time to get the races, and it's a good weekend for the sire Birdsong.
There you go. Absolutely.
Because I think this weekend's done more for his value as a stallion than ever, any 2 days ever before. Good for him.
Down to Maggie with Aqueduct's leading winter trainer, Rudy Rodriguez.
Seems fitting for a winter meet title that it's snowing here at Aqueduct. Rudy, picking up your 4th Aqueduct Winter Meet title, and this gal here, Baby Man, she worked nicely at the sale. Took her a while to get to the races, but you said to me she's been working really nicely in the mornings too.
You know, the last 2-3 works that she's putting up in the morning, she just impressed me better and better. And all the credit goes for Bruce Jackson. They got the filly to me. I'm just a passenger and try to do the best we can. And, you know, we just enjoying the winning, that's for sure.
This is your track. I know it kills you that you can't be stabled here anymore, but for you, this is kind of where it's all started, even when you were a jockey, where you had a lot of success too. So how much does it mean to you winning these winter meet titles?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Very good. Sorry.
Don't get choked up on me, Rudy.
Well, I used to live over here in the box, in the rooms. This is where I come back over here. I used to live in Band 7 upstairs, so this is home.
And to be on top now, it really...
Dream come true.
Well, Rudy, you work so hard and could not be happier for you once again.
Is the meat over already?
Well, you won it. You sewed it up.
I don't know. I don't know.
We did, Rudy. Don't worry. We did the math.
Yeah? Oh, man. So thank you, guys. Oof. It's good. It's good to be back home.
Rudy, congratulations. Well, Lafitte, as you can tell, it does mean so much for Rudy Rodriguez, who everything in this game started here at the Big A, and he has worked hard to get his way to the top.
Just really happy for him. He used to live on the backside. Now a 3-time Aqueduct Winter Training champ. He can talk about being a passenger. He used to ride. He's a Grade 1 winning jockey, Rudy Rodriguez. And you can sense that emotion, and a fine trainer and a good filly here. Andy, Baby Mama, Baby Man, the way she just performs, a filly with a future moving forward. That didn't feel or look flukish at all, despite the fact she was, 15-1 at post time.
No, I mean, there was some real separation in this race. It seems like a very solid race here. And that's the thing about Jose Gomez. He gets out of the gate. I mean, you rarely see him get left. You get the rail, you got a horse with speed. There's only one thing to do. It's get out of the gate quickly. She might not end up being good enough. She was in this case, but he gave her every chance. You got to get out of the gate.
Someone new to the sport, what do they need to know about Rudy Rodriguez as a trainer?
Well, I mean, he has very good stats off the claim. If you look, he's particularly good off the claim with routers, actually, which is not always that easy. But other than that, he's just a trainer that consistently really wins. But like a lot of trainers, he's streaky. But most trainers are streaky. They'll go, like everybody, like horse players. You'll go through a bad run, you go through a good run. But Rudy's a consistent winner on this circuit.
3 straight. 3 Aqueduct Training winter titles. Rudy Rodriguez, an affiliate to keep an eye on moving forward. Baby Man, sensational, quick in her debut in the 5th at Aqueduct. And when we return, how do you pull that off? The Elise Harold did to the American runners in yesterday's Dubai World Cup. Country Grammar, Bob Baffert, Frankie Dettori, Dubai World Cup glory once again for both, but this time together.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Sobomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. Pete, 775,000. Thank you.
Magic's in front.
Country Grammar third. Hot Rod Charlie's towards the inside rail. Then comes Chua Wizard. 200 meters out. Life is Good is the leader. Country Grammar second. Hot Rod Charlie continues to gain ground towards the inside. Life is Good with a target on his back. Country Grammar getting the upper hand. Draws alongside. And Country Grammar with his dates with destiny. In front a length and a half. Country Grammar won the Dubai World Cup.
Another American wins the Dubai World Cup, not the American most expected. Country Grammar defeats Hot Rod Charlie. Life is Good off the board. Fourth World Cup for all-world jockey Frankie Dettori and two-time Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert, Andy.
I'm going to say lost in all of this because so much of the discussion of the race was the disappointment of Life is Good, and understandably so, was that this was a terrific running of this race. I mean, this may have been the deepest one we've seen, especially from American participation, when you think about horses like Life is Good. Country Grammar, what he had done last year, second in the Saudi Cup. Hot Rod Charlie, who had run in huge races and run well last year. Midnight Bourbon, who had run really well. This was a deep running, and congrats to Country Grammar because for him, he was actually close enough to the pace, more close than Hot Rod Charlie, and it seems like that pace fell apart.
The incredible group Country Grammar joins the Americans that have won the Dubai World Cup. After further review, is there a case to be made for Life is Good, perhaps running a little bit better than first from what we watched when he tired late?
Absolutely, and I think that's why the worst thing you can do is make knee-jerk reactions about races. Is he a horse that can't get a mile and a quarter? Perhaps, but he also might be a horse that was forced to run pretty fast fractions. Think about Midnight Bourbon. I know he's a bit of a bridesmaid. People like to knock him. I don't knock him. I think he's a terrific racehorse, and I think you agree. He conceded sort of going into the stretch. He was done. And my friend Craig Mulkowski, who does the figures for Timeform US, in a lot of ways he's sort of the eyes and ears and timing races around the country with timing issues. And he had the pace coming up extremely fast. And keep in mind, there's no run-up. They start the race, the timing from the gate. So a 24 first quarter might be close to a 22 or a little change quarter. He had the pace very quick in there. I don't think Life is Good ran badly in there. The pace just took a toll. The distance was maybe a little far for him. And he met some pretty darn good racehorses.
What did we learn as we head on out to Oaklawn with the Americans running 1, 2, 4, 5? How do you feel about the older horse division moving forward?
I think the older horse division, I mean, we knew going in this year, we pretty much only lost Elusive Quality. Unfortunately, Medina Spirit as well. But there were a lot of good horses coming back. And you think about horses like Olympiad, who got a 103 Beyer winning yesterday. You think about Miles D waiting in the wings, a Speaker's Corners around there. There are some potentially good horses waiting out there. So this looks like a much stronger year than last year. And I like the 3-year-olds, too. I think we're in line to have a very strong year of quality racing.
Incredible afternoon of thoroughbred racing yesterday overseas in Dubai. Here at Oaklawn, post-parade race number 4, $8,000 claimers, Arkansas bred, 6 furlong sprint. There's Smarty Grimes and Ricardo Santana.
You told me this morning you were all in the 4-5 Arky bred double here at Oaklawn. I don't know about Smarty Grimes, though, if he'll be on I-6. He is dropping and getting a rider switch to Santana.
501, Purple Martin winning jockey, David Cabrera.
I like 501. I think he seems like the logical horse. The public agrees.
The 2-1 favorite, Marvelous Thunder, made the lead in her latest before fading.
Yeah, I don't think she can make the pace in here, though. There's some pretty quick horses in here, and the pace does figure to be on the rapid side.
Burnt Joe, 4-start this year, not close in his first 3.
But one of the reasons the pace could be rapid is Burnt Joe has some real speed. Stamina, though, a bit of an issue.
That might be an issue. Might be there early. I don't know about late. CHJ defeated double digits in his last 5 races.
I think people whose names are C, H, or J are staying away from this horse.
5-1. Rusty Cage, 2 races this year, leave a lot to be desired, Andy.
We were talking about Chris Richard yesterday. It was a very high percentage trainer, has virtually no success. He's a 3 or 4% trainer at Oaklawn.
And private, long shots to the outside here. Private Lake 2022 has been an uphill battle.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Though I don't think the 10's impossible.
Stomping Hot Rod, not close in 3 tries this year.
But, I mean, the last race, the figure's fast enough and does drop a little bit off that race. Do we know where Stomping Hot Rod comes from? Jonathan probably does. You know, he's a big NASCAR fan. We don't really talk about that enough.
If we can hear Jonathan this time, I'd be satisfied. JK, you
That's
there?
where we
Fingers
differ.
crossed.
I am here, and I don't know much about NASCAR. I think when I was in college, I used to root for the number 2 horse because it had like a Miller Lite thing on it, and for some reason that's what we took in when I was in college. Hey, you learn something new every day. I like the one towards the inside, When the Doves Cry. This is a horse that is a claim back for Carl Broberg. Carl had this horse previously, and the horse had run some numbers that would kind of demolish this field. Now, he hasn't really run those numbers since, but I'm hoping there's kind of something that Carl knows. He knows what his favorite snack is or how he likes to train in the morning, something to kind of get him going back in that same direction. He needs to kind of pop away from there from the inside. He hasn't shown a lot of gate speed as of late, and I don't really like that particularly with like kind of lower level horses down on the inside. But if this horse can break away from there and show a little bit of improvement getting back into Carl Broberg's barn, I do think the one When the Doves Cry is live in here.
Prince fans, that is your horse. Is that a handicapping angle you do follow, the trainer Reclaim, Andy?
No, I was thinking of horses named after rock bands I like. I think it's an interesting angle, and I'm actually interested if Jonathan has some thoughts on this, because I have no idea, because there are no stats on it, and that's a stat I'd love to see added to Formulator, reclaims by trainers. And here's one for you.
It's a good call.
Is it, because a trainer is probably going to reclaim a horse because he feels the horse is sound, and he, there's reason to claim, but I would love to see those stats. Without seeing the stats, I have no idea.
I'm surprised they're not available.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Is it a reclaim within a certain period of time? I mean, there's a lot of questions about it, but I would like to know that stat because you see it, you talk about it. But for me, unless I have actual numbers on it, I'm not going to assume anything because we all assume things in the game and they turn out to be completely wrong.
Because it makes sense. And then you want to see if there's the data to support it, which we don't have, but it would make sense.
It does make sense. But then again, some trainers may make a lot of bad claims, and you're relying on the trainer's judgment being good. So maybe that's the question. You have to ask yourself, how much do you trust their judgment?
And look, then you just look at the claiming stats. By the way, late scratch number 10, Stomping Hot Rod is out. Late scratch number 10, Stomping Hot Rod.
I found out I liked him a little bit in the spot.
Does that change anything? Race shape?
No. I mean, he was a stalker in this race. No, the 2 and 6, at least according to the Timeform Pace Projector, which I trust, seem to be the speeds in here. I would probably use the 3 and 4. I don't love the move up on the 1, claiming from the bottom level and moving up a little bit, because it's not just a move up, but Well, you look at the 3, and the 3 was running against less. I like 501. I thought there'd be some pace in here, and I thought the drop down would probably work. But I don't have a strong opinion. I'm not massively against the 1. I would prefer the 4.
David Cabrera winning that Purple Martin yesterday. That speed figure came back very strong, very fast.
95,
right?
The fastest Beyer speed figure any 3-year-old filly, or this crop has gotten faster in the number. I think Echo Zulu ran 94s. I mean, nobody's saying she's better than Echo Zulu or stuff, but that's a very fast number. And you were saying beforehand, how's the 3-year-old filly sprinting group looking? Well, it got a little stronger.
It felt like the opportunity was there for one to step up, and she did. And the way she broke yesterday.
Oh yeah. When you're a speed horse and you can break like that, it's always going to give you an advantage. And she won a 21-3 first quarter. She didn't get gifted that race. She earned it. That was a very, very good effort. I couldn't be happier for Norm Cassie. And it'll be interesting because when you look at Echo Zulu, listen, she won yesterday. You can't knock a horse that ran as well as she did last year, but it obviously wasn't a huge effort from her yesterday, not the kind of efforts we're used to seeing. She got a late start. I'm not being critical, but I do think it's reasonable to ask, and I think that it would be unreasonable for Steve Asmussen not to have the same questions. Is she a horse that's going to be a Kentucky Oaks, Coaching American Oaks, Alabama type horse, or is she a horse that's going to look more towards the Acorn to one-turn mile, the Test, 7 furlongs, a very important race for value, and maybe then you go from there to the Cotillion. It'll be interesting, and I don't know how far Pretty Birdie's going to go, but those have to be races that Norm Cassie's looking at as well.
Do you have a reasonable opinion on the 6th race at Aqueduct? Horses
I do.
are in the paddock?
I love a horse in the 6.
You love a horse?
Yes, I love Bourbon Bay, my kind of horse. Close to a fast pace last time that fell apart, didn't run that badly. They're betting Easy Shot to number 7 in this race because he won the race, but in my opinion, Bourbon Bay ran the better race of the 2. I like him with the 8 Dark Storm, and I guess you have to be a little afraid of the 5, the speed of the 5. It's all relevant.
Tried really hard in his last race. Loved that race from Bourbon Bay in his most recent. Maggie will be in the paddock shortly for that upcoming 6th race. Aqueduct, start of the late pick 4 at the gate here. Oaklawn, Arkansas bred, $8,000 claimer, 6 furlong sprint. Vic Stauffer standing by.
Marvelous Thunder. Last to load, Private Lake. They're at the post. They're off. Good start. Rusty Cage and Marvelous Thunder show speed. Burton Joe and When the Doves Cry with Agave Kid. Then Smarty Grimes, followed by Private Lake and CHJ, and the trailer is 501. It is Rusty Cage quickest up the backstretch, and he leads by just over a length from When the Doves Cry, who's in a tight spot at the rail in second. Marvelous Thunder and Burton Joe alongside him. Then it's 3 lengths further back to Smarty Grimes. 501 has about 6 lengths to make up. He's 2 in front of CHJ and Private Lake. Agave Kid is the trailer, and Rusty Cage is still the leader. Rusty Cage to the quarter pole, an all-in leader and 2 lengths in front. When the Doves Cry is now moving through nicely at the rail. Here's When the Doves Cry up into second. Marvelous Thunder is 3 deep in third, then Burton Joe. Top of the stretch, the rail is wide open for When the Doves Cry, and right now he takes charge. When the Doves Cry, now 2 lengths in front. Smarty Grimes has moved up into second. Then comes Marvelous Thunder, but When the Doves Cry is clear, a 16th out, and now he's 4 in front. Smarty Grimes, Marvelous Thunder, When the Doves Cry in front. When the Doves Cry won by 3.5. Smarty Grimes was second, Marvelous Thunder third, and Agave Kid finished 4th.
Reclaim. Worked on this occasion. When the Doves Cry. First after the claim, Reclaim, Carl Broberg, 7-year-old gelding, 9th lifetime win.
We got a good trip, but was much the best in this race. Nobody else really showed up. My 4-horse was dreadful, got a fast pace to close into and never had any move whatsoever. But When the Doves Cry was in a good spot, rail opened up, he ran, no one else did.
A price on When the Doves Cry?
2 to 1.
2 to 1 at post time. Well done, JK, zeroing in on that one. When the Doves Cry, Christian Torres, Carl Broberg, victorious. Race number 4, Oaklawn Park. Stay tuned for those results. Aqueduct, meantime, post parade, $25,000 claimers, 1 mile. Here is the gelding Andy loves. Bourbon Bay drawn inside. There he is with Jorge Vargas aboard.
Big fan of Antonio Arriaga and the job he does off the claim, especially with routers. Ran very well, sneaky well in his last start, and he's got back races fast enough to win. I'm hoping he gets back to his best races.
Palatial Times, 4-year-old debut for Mike Maker.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this horse. His recent form just doesn't seem good enough. And are we really confident he wants to go this far?
Find out. Underrated movie. Glory Road. Leading rider Dylan Davis, number 4 here. Vintage Hollywood, an outsider.
I love Glory Road. Are you kidding me?
Good.
The story of the team that beat
Texas
Kentucky.
Western
Yes,
Miners,
there you go.
1966
Josh
NCAA
Lucas
champs.
playing the coach. Yeah,
Good film.
Yep.
Handy. Trevor McCarthy here. Perfect in 2 starts here at Aqueduct.
Yeah, Trevor gave this horse an incredible ride using the gold rail to his advantage when he won 2 back.
Easy Shot. Deep closing winner in the mud last month.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's going to get that same fast pace to run at he got
Agreed.
last time.
A Dark Storm, who is the favorite. Kendrick Carmouche rides first after the claim. Rob Atras.
Concern with him is he just doesn't seem to win anymore. He has, he's a horse that won early, but he's not been getting it done recently. He's a bit of an in-and-outer, but his good races are good enough.
Field for the 6 at Aqueduct. Started late pick 4 in a little over 3 minutes. JK, many viewers ready to play the hot hand. Let's see the ticket.
And look, we don't always get to do this. The nature of the presenting these tickets, on TV is kind of tough. Typically, I don't just play one ticket. I try to play multiple tickets, and here's an example of how you can do that to be just a little bit more efficient. I'm going to play a $5 base amount. Pick 4 here. I'm going to use 4 horses in this first leg, 3, 5, 6, and 7. And then I'm going to go single, single, single. The 7 American Monarch, the 5 Yo Cuz, and the 1 and 1A, the Rudy Rodriguez entry to wrap up the sequence. That's my main ticket. That's the ticket I'm trying to punch hard, as it were. I will also play another 50-cent ticket in case some of those singles get beat. 3, 5, 6, 7 to get started. I'm going to use the 5 and the 7 in the second leg, the 4 and the 5 in the third leg, and the 1, 3, 4 to wrap it up. Now, there's a more efficient way. You can actually kind of pull this out into more tickets, but for the sake of the show, I wanted to at least give you 2 examples of how you can play a little bit more efficiently, make a little bit better wagers, but I'll try to help you with the wagering. I'll let Maggie help you with the horse flesh.
I'll try. JK, as I do want to talk about, well, the horse that has been kind of flip-flopping with favoritism between It's All Relevant, but the outside runner in here, Dark Storm, as Andy pointed out, it's been a while since he has won a race, and furthermore, while he runs consistently, and Rob Atras is a high percentage trainer, and it's usually his horses look fantastic. I cannot say that about Dark Storm. Honestly, he does not look like the same Dark Storm that was running around here a year to 2 years ago. He's kind of lightened up. His coat's very dull. Could mean absolutely nothing. But this is kind of the way he's been heading, too, throughout the last several months. And I, from my perspective and what I stand for, I can just never endorse, especially at a short price, a horse who appears that way. As a horse who has been consistent in form and in flesh. That's number 3. Glory Road here, first off the claim for Bob Caceres, a horse that his entire life, he's pretty much run a mid to high 70 buyer speed figure every single time he's led over. Now, he is searching for his 3rd win in a row, but he looks fantastic. He yet again looks like a happy horse. He is also wearing the front wraps again, which he did wear in his last start, albeit it was a win. But just if I'm assessing these horses and how good they look as though they're doing, he ticks every box. And like I said, he's a fairly reliable type. Lafitte?
So a good, positive vibe there with Glory Road from Maggie, currently 4-1 picture, Dylan Davis. Dark Storm, though, Andy, a little disconcerting. Look, if you liked him on paper for Rob Atras first after the claim, and she's telling you doesn't love the way he looks, you're going to lose a little confidence here as they circle about and we get set for the 6th race and the start of this late pick 4.
Not a good thing when Maggie doesn't like your horse in the paddock. Of course, doesn't mean the horse can't win, but it's
They'll
certainly
fool
not a positive
everyone
thing.
from time to time.
He's an unreliable horse. I mean, this is a horse that has not won a race in his last 11 starts. His last one was $16,000 claimer. And keep this in mind. He won 4 of his first 11 starts. He's gone 0 for 11 in his last 11 starts. That's a bit of a concern. He comes out of a race last time that kind of fell apart in the late stages. Yeah, he had a little bit of trouble in the race. He was shuffled back a little bit too, but he had pretty clean sailing afterwards. I can't make an excuse for his last race. I think he'll run okay, but, you know. I mean, listen, maybe Glory Road will win off the claim, but in my opinion, he's run against inferior horses and gotten unbelievably good trips in his races. I suppose I could be wrong.
The gelding you like, Bourbon Bay, at 8-1, I liked the way he really battled in that last race against Easy Shot.
I think his last race off the claim was a real improvement for him, and it doesn't really show at first glance. I think you have to take the race apart to understand that was a wicked pace that completely and totally incinerated. He was right on top for the course quarter mile. Dropped back a little bit, but he actually re-rallied, and he actually held his ground fairly well, and he finished the best by far of anybody that was at all engaged in the pace. I think he improved off the claim for Arriaga, and it doesn't look that way. And he is a horse that at times has run races that are absolutely fast enough to win this race.
8-1, Andy's top selection, Bourbon Bay. J.K. Maggie going with Glory Road. Best of luck as the late pick 4 gets underway here. $25,000 claimers, 1 mile. John Embriel standing by with the remainder of the load and call.
Vintage Hollywood and Dark Storm. There in the gate. And they're off. It's All Relevant. Going right out for the early lead. Dark Storm is on the outside, and Bourbon Bay is down at the rail as they race up the chute. It's All Relevant, the leader. Dark Storm, Bourbon Bay heads apart second and third. Then comes a Vintage Hollywood, who is running in fourth. Handy is in between horses as Easy Shot gains on the outside. Then it is Palatial Times, and Glory Road trails the field in eighth. The quarter went in 23 and 3/5 seconds. It's All Relevant steps away here to lead by 2. Dark Storm, Bourbon Bay, Easy Shot, those 3 are heads apart for second. And then comes Vintage Hollywood, who's down at the rail. Alongside is the gray Handy. And at the back of the pack, Palatial Times and Glory Road. It's All Relevant is the leader here after a half mile in 46 and 4/5 seconds. Easy Shot is on the move now on the outside. It's All Relevant by a length. Easy Shot is now second by 2. Bourbon Bay is down at the rail with Dark Storm alongside. Then comes Handy, who's racing in fifth. And farther back in the field is Glory Road and Vintage Hollywood. It's All Relevant is the leader at the top of the stretch. Ran 3/4 in 1:12 and 2. It's All Relevant has a 3-length lead, now a 4-length lead. Handy is moving up on the outside to grab second. Bourbon Bay is down at the rail. It's All Relevant is in front as they move for the 16th pole. It's All Relevant. The lead is down to 2 lengths. Handy is driving on the outside. It's All Relevant still in front. They come on for the finish. It's All Relevant holds on. And it has been a special Sunday in New York for apprentice Jose Gomez as he picks up his 4th win on the card.
Jose Gomez. Dylan Davis won 4 yesterday. Gomez with 4 of the first 6 today. 2nd win for leading trainer, champion winter trainer, Rudy Rodriguez. It's All Relevant. This thing got interesting late, Andy, with Handy closing out, nearly picking him up, coming up about a half length short.
Trevor McCarthy seems to get the best out of Handy in here, but It's All Relevant. He takes no prisoners in front. This is a very solid pace, and he ran a good race. The horse has run some very good races at times. He set a wicked pace 2 back and ran well. Not as well last time, but maybe a little bit of a tougher field. He doesn't run that often. He takes a lot of big breaks, but when he runs, he usually runs fairly well.
5, 6, 3, 7. What were those claim numbers? 3, 4, 6, 7. Glory Road, Vintage Hollywood, Handy, Easy Shot, Dark Storm, all headed to other stables. Andy.
Been a lot of claiming going on here. A very active claim box here. Also at Oaklawn Park as well.
You're not kidding. Jose Gomez, 4 victories thus far. It's All Relevant. 5, 6, 3, 7. Stay tuned for those results. Also, we mentioned Arkansas Derby, field drawn, the legend, the Hall of Famer, the coach, Dwayne Lucas. Can he win a 2nd Arkansas Derby with a filly? 38 years apart, Secret Oath, the biggest test of her young career in 6 days with the Grade 1, $1.25 million Arkansas Derby.
Florida Derby's always been a key stallion-making race. Constitution, Scat Daddy, Quality Road.
The 2017 Florida Derby to Always Dreaming.
I see a lot of similarities in Constitution and Always Dreaming. They're a little more angular, aerodynamic, and athletic than some of the other stallions by those sire lines. Always Dreaming offers that athleticism, and I think he can reproduce that into his babies, and you'll see some good 2-year-old performances from them.
How does horse racing support New York's economy? It's responsible for 19,000 jobs and more than $3 billion in annual statewide economic impact. These good-paying jobs support working families across the state and sustain thousands of small businesses both on and off the track. Horse racing in New York means jobs and opportunities now and in the future. We are New York horse racing.
Start spreading the news. If you're looking to win in New York, then breed in New York. To War Dancer, the millionaire son of Warfront, and New York's #1 sire of 3-year-olds. Breed to a proven performer, the #1 second crop sire at the Saratoga meet with multiple winners at Belmont and Aqueduct. Earn double the New York Breeders' Awards and participate in the New York Stallion Series with $2 million in purses. War Dancer, proud to stand in New York. Visit wardancerstud.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. Great to have you with us on a Sunday afternoon. Live coverage from Aqueduct, the closing day of the winter meet, where we just saw It's All Relevant. Jose Gomez aboard. He's out of an AP Indy mare. Watching him run, like AP Indy, that low head carriage, that anteater action.
I never heard that, anteater. I never heard that
like
reference.
An anteater.
No, you made it during the race. I can still remember the first time I saw AP Indy when he won the Peter Pan. He missed the Derby, won the Peter Pan when he was prepping for his eventual Belmont win. And seeing his running, something he's passed along for so many generations, a remarkable sire, and seeing him the first time saying, well, that's so weird. That doesn't look good. There's something wrong with that. I remember all of us at Belmont were watching and thinking, who is, you didn't see replays back then the same way you did, so we weren't familiar with him, and it just was so weird.
Terrific racehorse. Yeah, scratched the day before the Kentucky Derby. Won the Peter Pan, the Belmont Stakes, Breeders' Cup Classic winner. That was AP Indy. This was It's All Relevant, and wow, Jose Gomez, 4 wins on the afternoon, standing by with Maggie in the winner's circle.
Yeah, he's ridden 5 races and won 4 of them. What a remarkable way to finish up the winter meet, Jose. And this is a horse that you do have a lovely rapport with, but how rewarding is it to get the win after riding the last 2 times?
Oh, it's great. It's great. My friend Romero Mirage had won a couple races on him, and he told me, and Bastu, he told me, just let this horse do his thing. Don't try to control him. He knows what to do. And it's lovely when the horse you just get on and just let him do their thing.
He has that really low head carriage. What's it like to sit on a horse going that fast that kind of runs with his head so low to the ground?
Yeah, you just try to stay as low as you can, try to stay as aerodynamic as you can because, like you said, he does carry his head low, so all that wind kind of hits you in the chest. So you just try to stay as low as you can and see how far it goes.
You're inching close. What are you, 5 wins away from losing your apprenticeship?
I just lost the 5-pound last race.
Oh my gosh. Well, wow. Congratulations. Now, you have it till the end of the year. Is the plan to stay here in New York as well?
Well, we'll see. Talking to my team right now, see what we're going to do.
I think you should.
Well, we'll see.
Well, Jose, congratulations. Huge day. And we've only had 6 races.
Yeah. We'll try to keep going.
Yeah. All right. Well, quite a young man that's gotten off to a hot start here, Lafitte. And he's made quite an impression on everybody here in New York. Why not stay, right?
The way he's going, and you had pointed out earlier, Andy, how fast he's going through his apprenticeship.
Yeah, no, he's had, just an incredible run, and he's riding a lot for Rudy, but he's riding for him because he's good. he's talking about whether or not he stays through his apprenticeship. We'll see. They're saying the end of the year. Obviously, you'd want to have it through next winter when he could do well here in the winter. I'm not exactly sure what the date would be for when he would lose his 5-pound bug. It's tough in the summer here. I mean, you're talking about Pratt coming here. It's not going to be easy. And at some point, do you go to Saratoga? Do you ride somewhere else during that time period? We'll see. He'll be fine, though. He can ride.
What caught your eye immediately? So you've been talking about Jose Gomez for a while.
I think you watch a lot of riders ride, and sometimes you see a lot of 10-pound and 7-pound riders, and you just see them on horses, and you don't get position, and they lose position. You didn't see that with him at all. You saw a rider who seemed to be riding professionally as a 10-pound bug rider, something you rarely see. I remember Jose Ortiz when he showed up, 7-pound rider. Richie Migliori had told me, you got to watch this kid. And you could just see the confidence he had. He just didn't ride like a bug rider. And you see it with Gomez. He gets out of the gate. And the thing about Gomez is when he's riding a horse, you feel comfortable he's going to have a chance to win if you think the horse is good enough. He's not going to win horses aren't good enough, but he gives them the best chance to win.
Can he win the 7th race? Arthur's Hope, who was 12-1 morning line, now 5-1.
Yeah, well, people like to make mistake of betting on riders when they've won a lot of races, as though that could influence the next race. Arthur's Hope at one time would have been tough in here. He's lost his speed, and he's kind of lost a lot of his ability. I used to love this horse, but he's just not that good anymore.
Gomez looking for a 5th on the afternoon coming up in the 7th race. Aqueduct also getting our first look at Tampa Bay Downs this afternoon. Your pet got loose again, Andy.
Yeah, I know.
Did you lock that
I left
thing
the
up
front
already?
door open yesterday, and you know that's what happened. They get on a plane,
Just
they go right down to
irresponsible.
Florida.
Not like letting a hamster out, you know what I'm saying?
Smarter than us.
First of 3 stakes races coming up from Tampa Bay Downs.
They say breed the best to the best and hope for the best.
Vekoma broke well on the outside.
But you don't expect to get speed like this.
Is Vekoma the one to catch? Vekoma has a 5-length lead in this Grade 1 order. Vekoma continues to battle on down at the rail. It is Vekoma who's going to win the Met Mile.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, as always brought to you in part by America's Best Racing for the love of the race. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Wall-to-wall racing on a Sunday afternoon. Tampa Bay Downs coming up shortly. Aqueduct closing day winter meet, and they are in the paddock for the 5th race, Oaklawn Park, Arkansas bred. Restricted claimer. They're all for sale, $25,000. All one for something. Riders up. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and older. Scratch number 4, so a field of 8, Andy. And Dolly Dimple towards the outside. For John Ortiz, he'll have Barber Road going in 6 days in the Arkansas Derby. Dolly Dimple 2-1 as we get set for the post parade.
Made me think of that Jimi Hendrix song, Dolly Dagger. Jimi Hendrix fan?
Not as familiar.
Yeah, you're a child.
Not as familiar.
You're not an old person like me.
I want to tell our viewers where you were when the One Breeders' Cup was here at Aqueduct.
Everybody knows.
And they're going to just completely
no, it was the right
differently.
place. I was the legendary Richmond Grateful Dead shows
The one
in
Breeders'
85.
Cup ever at Aqueduct.
Trust me, you didn't want to miss those shows. Anyone who knows the Grateful Dead knows I made the right choice. And I threw in the Halloween show in South Carolina. So there
Were
was
you
that.
able to get a few bets down?
I bet Stormcat, and your father beat me for a fortune.
See,
Thanks for bringing it up.
That's what you get.
And we all watched in
That's
the hotel
what you
room.
get.
Yeah.
That's what you get. He's not sorry.
No,
in the least.
no, I made the right choice.
Tasso out in the center of the racetrack, picking off Stormcat.
Your dad should feel bad for costing your friend Andy all that money. He should
we
feel
wound up naming our
guilty.
dog Tasso.
Really? Mm-hmm. He probably won as many races as Tasso did after the Breeders' Cup.
If he was still alive, we'd name him Tasso cost Andy a grip. Fifth race, Oaklawn Park. We'll get to the Arkansas Derby. The field drawn earlier today. The Philly Secret Oath. Take it on the boys. We'll be on site. Live coverage on Fox Sports 1. Here is Big on Broadway. Christian Torres seeking a second win in back-to-back.
Well, you know that I have a little interest in the horse because he is turning back at distance. But this is a trainer. At his turnbacks, I think, at Oaklawn, he's 0 for 28.
He's due.
Yes, he is.
Flowers for Chantel will follow. 6-1 shots will be side by side. Nice long look at Big on Broadway. There's Flowers for Chantel.
This is a stranger, right? Never run against Archie breds before. Was it Tampa? Was it Colonial? And has found the right home, though, running against the Archies. This horse is a little interesting. It's just a wise guy horse.
Brahms is who, the 5-year-old mare?
I know who Brahms is, and he's better than this horse.
Brahms was a Hollywood Derby winner by disqualification back in the early 2000s.
Wow. Elliott Walden, I want to say.
I think so.
Yeah.
Scratch number 4.
He's a good horse, Brahms. I like Brahms.
He was.
Yeah.
He was good. Life of Saturday is out. There's Amazing Lace, and Kelsey Haar has a win on the program.
Like what Kelsey Haar is down there. It's going to take a lot of improvement, though, to get this one. They'll have some races, but not at Oaklawn fast enough.
Guest in my heart, contender 3-1 with David Cabrera.
Yeah, it's going to need some pace. That's the problem. That's the problem for a lot of horses in here. There just isn't much pace on paper.
Fast Sophia, Chelsea Bailey lost that heartbreaker in the nightcap yesterday.
If she's Fast Sophia, I hope I never see Slow Sophia.
Dolly Dimple, Jimi Hendrix fans, 2-1 with Ramon Vasquez.
How do you take 2-1 on a horse that was very good last year for Brad Cox, stunk up the joint for Brad Cox in 2 start, moves to John Ortiz? All due respect to John Ortiz.
Right.
He was from Brad Cox. I think this is a terrible favorite.
So then there should be opportunity elsewhere. How about Olivian?
It's hard to like. This horse is not very good, but he is. She is supposed to be the speed here, and it is John Cordon. I thought a little bit interesting. I think the 2 is a wise guy horse in here.
All right. Stranger danger, perhaps. Flowers for Chantel at a price, 8-1. Fans looking on. It'll be packed in 6 days for the Arkansas Derby. Oaklawn coverage continues. We'll have the 5th. We'll be right back.
A Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, War of Will became a classic winner with this victory in the Preakness Stakes and added a Grade 1 with turf credentials in the Maker's Mark Mile. From ages 2 to 4, this versatile son of Warfront proved his class at the highest levels. Now his first foals have arrived. War of Will, standing at Claiborne Farm.
With 5 champions, 70-plus stakes winners, there is arguably no better proven stallion value than Sky Mesa. Among his leading progeny is Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes winner, Perfect Alibi.
Perfect Alibi runs in her.
Sky Mesa has a higher percentage of black-type horses to starters than More Than Ready, Malibu Moon, Kitten's Joy, Hard Spun, Candy Ride, and Street Sense.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live
Juggling 3 tracks. We welcome you back. South Ozone Park, New York, Aqueduct. This is America's Day at the Races. We have stakes racing coming up. Tampa Bay Downs, 3 straight stakes races. You'll see that 5th at Oaklawn shortly. And horses in the paddock for the 7th at Aqueduct. We check in with Maggie.
Yeah, we'll check in, Lafitte, with the horse that is turning back in distance from the rail, number 2, Core Conviction. And he is a great example of something that Andy and JK talk a lot about with regards to track biases, that it's not good to necessarily try to bet them on the day. It's better to bet the horses back when they were against it, or bet against them when they were with a track bias. Well, I tried with Core Conviction because I thought that he was a lone speed last time, and then Jose Lescano with First Constitution, the first race that he did on the entire card, decided to be aggressive because I knew in my heart of hearts that Core Conviction was going to struggle with the 9 furlongs. He's just not really built for it, to be quite honest. He's more compact and built downhill, and I think he probably tops out at a 1-turn mile. So needless to say, I like this turn back to the 6.5 furlongs, which is a distance that I think he should be competitive at. I just wish he looked a little bit better overall, but this is the right situation with him getting back on Lasix, Lafitte.
Maggie, thanks so much. Just in time to get back to Oaklawn Park, where they are at the gate. Andy, not thrilled with the favorite, surprised about the favorite with Dolly Dimple, who was 2-1 when we last checked.
I mean, listen, I'm not. Anything could happen in this race, but this is, well, the 6 is favored now. I think the 6 is the right favorite. The 6 is the horse to beat in this race. I played exact as 6 with 6, the 2 with the 6, a little 9, but I'm trying the 2, the wild card.
Here's Vic Stauffer.
They're off. Big on Broadway, Dolly Dimple, and Olivian all break well. Then comes Brahms's Who and Amazing Lace. Guest in My Heart has 2 beat early. They are up the backstretch. Fast Sophia, and the trailer is Flowers for Chantel. It's Dolly Dimple to clear off going into the far turn. She's faster than Olivian and leads by a length and a half. Amazing Lace is 3rd at the rail and 3.5 lengths in front of Big on Broadway. Guest in My Heart moves into 5th now and about 7 lengths off the lead, and they leave the backstretch, and Guest in My Heart has to take up as they round the far turn with Dolly Dimple in front. Dolly Dimple is a length in front of Olivian in 2nd. Amazing Lace is 3rd. Then it's a big gap back to Flowers for Chantel and Guest in My Heart, top of the stretch, and Amazing Lace trying to come through at the rail, but here is Olivian to put ahead in front. Dolly Dimple is battling on at the rail, then 2.5 back to Amazing Lace and Flowers for Chantel, but it's Olivian clear now. Olivian has the lead by 2.5 lengths. Amazing Lace and Flowers for Chantel. Here's Flowers for Chantel. Olivian, Flowers for Chantel. Flowers for Chantel beat Olivian. Amazing Lace was 3rd, and Dolly Dimple finished 4th.
Late charge, Flowers for Chantel, Andy's top selection in this 5th race at a price Oaklawn. Our concern with Guest in My Heart in that 5th race, Oaklawn Park, having taken a bad step and falling. Any update on her condition? We will pass that along as soon as that information is available from Oaklawn Park. Back to Maggie here with the horses in the paddock for the 7th at Aqueduct.
Lafitte, thank you. As we'll take a look at number 5, Mr. Phil. First off the claim for Rob Atras, and he was a horse that had been running for a tag for the first time in a long time after his form subsided, but he showed in that claiming 32 that there's still some engine in there. There's still some Mr. Phil of yesteryear. And this is a horse that throughout the winter just never looked that great either. Well, Rob's got him heading in the right direction, at least physically, as he does step back up into class, I should say. Coats come around. He's starting to emerge with some dapples. Just looks more defined. Just looks more like a horse able to compete at this level again. So I think Mr. Phil is incredibly interesting off that trainer change, guys.
Mr. Phil at a 4-1 here, pictured there. Good race, Andy, the 7th at Aqueduct. 6.5 furlong sprint. Allowance optional claimer with a good purse of $84,000.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very, very interesting race, actually. I think that the 2 is much the horse to beat in here. I'm sorry, Core Conviction. Core Conviction had been extremely good, and his wins were better. What are we looking at here?
Mr. Phil.
Oh.
Stock and pounce tactics employed. It looked dull in the stretch here, Andy, until he comes to life late.
problem with Mr. Phil is his best, and I do think he's the other horse this race. I don't get the Bill Mott horse at all. Is that his best races are on the front end. Now, he has stalked and won before. This is a very interesting claim by Rob Atras and owner Sandy Goldfarb, a very sharp claiming owner. And they waited for this horse to get in. And when he was in good form, he was very good. And I do think he is the right alternative to Core Conviction here, not the horse who's currently favored, American Monarch, who I do not like.
Core Conviction there, 2-1, will actually break from the rail. Never mind the Jazzle. That was it, 1 1/8 miles. Let's go back to his last one-turn race. Core Conviction. He had the rail. He made the lead. It was a testing pace, kind of hounded throughout, and still held on to win.
That's when horses win like he did. That shows you something special, because he set a very fast pace that day, and was still able to hold everybody off. This is a very talented horse. So the question is, what happened last time? I don't believe it's the distance. This horse chased outside against the goldest rail we may have had all winter. And chasing outside in two-turn races will absolutely eliminate horses. And I had basically said to Chad Brown, if you don't get the lead in this race, he's not winning. And listen, I credit First Constitution. They were super aggressive with him, and that's what won the race. But the other thing is that he raced without Lasix that day for the first time. He has Lasix again, and he bled last time, probably in all likelihood. So you got that situation. He's under the gun breaking from the inside, but he's quick, and I think he's going to take a world of beating. I believe he's a better horse than American Monarch. I believe his last race very excusable, and Chad Brown wouldn't be running him back so soon if he was concerned.
Batting .480 this winter at Aqueduct, Chad Brown, Core Conviction. Drawn inside, quick, talented, trying for a third win in his last 4. Grass racing, Andy. Been a while since we've covered one together.
Tell you, I am all in on the 8-6 double here. Could we actually be paying $4 for $2 with the 2? And I'm joking, people. I don't bet those kind of things. But I mean, Shamrocket, yeah, 1 1/8 miles is a little short in his best. He's better going longer, but he's facing horses that are in a completely different area code. I mean, a different country than the horses he's facing.
This is the Grade 2 McDarmida on the undercard of the Fountain of Youth, Gulfstream Park. Wide every step of the way, Shamrocket, and still going to finish a very good second.
No, I mean, he's got 15 seconds and thirds and just 5 wins, but he's also scored 20 times 24 starts. So I don't want to knock him. He is consistent. Now, he doesn't get it done, but he's also not getting it done against some very, very good horses in his race. Yes, he's better going longer. He won 1 1/8 miles on the dirt in a bad field, but he was second. To be fair, he was second maybe in this race last year. Was.
Yep.
As the even money favorite. The thing is, what he's basically facing here are claimers and horses that are starter allowance types. I don't love him at 1 1/8 miles. I don't totally trust him as a winning type. There's no question in my mind that the favorite in the next race, Shifty She, is a much, much more likely winner because she's really good and she wins and she's the speed. But Lafitte, if you've got some idea to bet against her, or Jonathan does, bring it on.
Where do you, maybe Max KO drawn inside. Defeated favorite in 4 straight. These are the types of horses that they're like public enemy number 1. You bet them, you bet them, you bet them, and they get beat. They let you down, and then as soon as you ignore them, that's when they show up.
Right. Well, you know how that goes in this game. The whole game is designed. It's interesting how it's really against everybody. Individually, the game is against everybody. Everybody that plays the game is out to get us.
Did you just come up with like horse racing's newest slogan?
Right. The game is out. But that's what we love about racing, right? It's an endless amount of things to complain about. We always have an excuse. There's always a reason we actually were right when we were wrong. There's always an excuse. Always somebody else's fault. It always gives you a reason to complain, and we love it. And it just keeps you coming back. We love because the other thing we love about the game, besides the fact that horse racing is incredibly exciting. The horses are amazing. Watching the races, but the puzzle of deciding, trying to figure it out. I love the handicapping, but there's just so many different facets to racing, and part of it is being able to complain 8, 10, 20 times a day. What's better than that?
I'd take the over sitting next to you, Mr. Surling.
Well, an extra. I should say an extra 20 times a day, depending on how many tracks and how many races you bet, right? You complain about at least 70% of the time when you bet.
Just came up with the sports newest slogan. Love it. Grey Goose Turf Classic here with a $110,000 purse. Florida bred, Shamrocket, odds on it 2-5. Jason Beam with the load and call. First of 3 stakes races from Tampa Bay Downs.
Lure him in coming forward. Fast Fire out to gate 7. Drama Chorus will be next. Just waiting on Shamrocket, and Over the Channel will be all set for a start. The Grey Goose Turf Classic. Shamrocket coming up. Over the Channel, Amicio Jaramillo to the outside. Goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on in the Grey Goose Turf Classic. Freedom Matters away just a step slow. Drama Chorus in the center shows speed. Max KO down toward the inside, and Over the Channel up from the outside now, coming up into a clear-cut third as they go through that first furlong. It is going to be Drama Chorus and Alonso Quinones to lead him. Max KO sets up shop just in behind that one in the second spot. Up from the outside, Over the Channel is joined second now as it's a break of length and a half more back to lure him in fourth. Freedom Matters is fifth. Then we come back to Chess's Dream in sixth. Here's Shamrock at seventh right now. About 8 or 9 line lengths off the lead. It's 2 more back to end one, and Fast Fire the long shot is at the back with 6 furlongs remaining in their journey. And up on the front end, it's Drama Chorus. Drama Chorus through that opening quarter in 24 and 1/5 seconds leads Max KO on the outside Over the Channel. Those two together second and third as they wheel on to the backstretch. Freedom Matters is now fourth. Down toward the inside, lure him in, and those teal colors is fifth, about 4.5 off the lead. Then comes Chess's Dream, Shamrocket. They race as a team as Fast Fire is now out of last, and one now relegated to the back. They got the opening half in 48 and 4/5 seconds. It's Drama Chorus to the far turn a length in front of Over the Channel in the second position. Down toward the inside, Max KO continues to travel pretty nicely. Is third, only a length and a half off the lead. Then comes Freedom Matters. Shamrocket now given the cue on the outside, starting to rally up, is now a joint fifth. 3 lengths off the lead as lure him in right to that one's inside. Around the far turn they run. Drama Chorus the leader by a length. Over the Channel, Max KO crying out for room down toward the inside while Shamrocket is getting a vigorous ride and a 5-wide trip. Max KO now sees daylight trying to come after Drama Chorus. A final furlong left to go. Drama Chorus, here's Max KO on the outside. Shamrocket really has to go. Final 16th to go. Max KO, Drama Chorus, these two past the 16th pole. It's down to these two. Drama Chorus on the inside, digs in. Max KO on the outside. They come to the wire. It's very close. It looked like Drama Chorus held on. Max KO right there, but second best. Long way back to lure him in. Shamrocket and Freedom Matters.
The definition of a game thoroughbred in the stretch. Tough as nails. Drama Chorus would not let Max KO by. In the Grey Goose Turf Classic Stakes, the big disappointment, wow, Shamrocket easily defeated.
He was horrific. He was wide, but he was horrific. You know what my friend Andy Beyer would say? The figs don't lie. Ran a 95 Beyer. And, you know, oddly, the figure made sense when you looked it up. But I think one of the concerns about this horse, and he won, was A, the 5 might have had the speed to press him, but also he had to get a mile and an eighth. And you thought the mile and eighth a concern. It wasn't. Max KO, he had a little chandelier in the stretch.
That's been the issue. It's ironically named Max KO, does not have the knockout punch when push comes to shove. And he ran well, just denied late by Drama Chorus, would not go by. Nearing post time, about a minute till the 7th at Aqueduct. Back down to Maggie.
Take a look at the New York bred, and one of a few New York breds in here, but the 1A Gemography coming out of that Holly Hughes, in which, what do you think now, just blew away the field. And he was coming in off a little bit of a break, and he is that kind of heavier, you know, more thicker bone type of horse that I've always thought needs a start to get going again. Well, he's gotten it. He looks great. He was a horse that, you know, tailed off for those 2 races, October, December, didn't look quite as good. And I think, not that he's going to, you know, upset the 2 favorites in here, but I do like him today, and I think he can make some noise at 8-1. Lafitte?
Gemography, 8-1 there. Dylan Davis just joining us, having secured his first New York Racing Association riding title here at Aqueduct this winter. 4 wins yesterday, Dylan Davis. Jonathan, your thoughts going in as they start to move into line?
Yeah, look, I'll be quick here. I thought the 7 was going to be favored, American Monarch. I'm happy as I can be with the 9-5, so I'm going to let you guys go on with it. I'm going to log into my Naira bets. I like the 7 American Monarch.
JK, American Monarch. The American Pharaohs going head-to-head. American Pharaoh, Triple Crown winner, sire American Monarch, sire Core Conviction as well. Post time here for a very good allowance sprint. Purse $84,000. John Imbrial with the call. 7th race live from the Big A.
Waiting now for Competitive Saint and American Monarch. They're in the gate, set for race 7. And they're off. It is Mr. Phil and Sagamore Mischief. Those two going out for the early lead. Mr. Phil has the lead. Sagamore Mischief runs in second. American Monarch is on the outside and racing in third. And then comes in between horses is a Competitive Saint with Core Conviction down at the rail. A break of 2 to the 2 trailers, Arthur's Hope and Gemography. Mr. Phil is the leader here by a length and a half. Ran the opening quarter mile 22 and 4/5 seconds. American Monarch on the outside, second by a half length. Sagamore Mischief is down at the rail and racing in third. Then comes Competitive Saint in fourth. Core Conviction has dropped back a few spots down towards the rail. Passed on the outside by Arthur's Hope. Trailing the field is Gemography. At the top of the stretch, the leader is Mr. Phil, with American Monarch moving into second. Sagamore Mischief is down at the rail. Then comes Competitive Saint as they come down for the 8th pole. It is still Mr. Phil in front. The lead is 2 lengths. American Monarch runs in second. Mr. Phil holding the lead. American Monarch in second. Arthur's Hope on the far outside has advanced into third, but it's going to be a front-running score here for Mr. Phil. Won it here by a length. American Monarch was second. Arthur's Hope finished third.
Mr. Phil showing more speed. Maggie liked what she saw in the paddock. Strikes at 9-2.
He's a better horse when he can be in the front end, and Core Conviction didn't break that sharply. Manny was aggressive. He didn't have his speed, and he ran last in here. Once Mr. Phil made the lead and the way the 2 was running, honestly, this race was over.
You mentioned better, more aggressive, in control up front, never looked back. Mr. Phil 9-2 with Kendrick Carmouche.
Smart claim. It was a very smart claim.
American Monarch 8-5. Any excuses? Just outrun.
Second best. Had a good trip. Second best. He lost
Core
to a horse who ran
Conviction.
better. I mean, he didn't break, and he was chasing the whole way. He was awful. He finished last. He was absolutely horrendous. Obviously, something's gone wrong with him.
Non-factor there. 5-7-3. Showing a photo for 4th. Results when we come back, and we'll have an update from Oaklawn. And we wanted to clarify, it was big on Broadway with Christian Torres involved in that incident at Oaklawn, not Guest in My Heart and David Cabrera. Apologies. It was big on Broadway. We'll have an update when we come back.
I'm very bullish on it.
Tom's D'Etat's got a 4-length lead at the 16th pole. Tom's D'Etat has conquered the Clark.
Your best horses of the last 10 or 15 years are not consistently as fast as this horse.
It's total domination for Tom's D'Etat.
He's a beautifully balanced horse and a really good mover, and he's just full of class.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. As always, brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go now at nairabets.com. Where a smiling Kendrick Carmouche had Mr. Phil out of the gate quickly. What else is new? And he told you, tough on the lead. Maggie liked how he looked. $11 later, he strikes in the 7th race at Aqueduct over American Monarch and Arthur's Hope, completing the trifecta. Jose Gomez. Jose Gomez, 3rd place finish at 18-1.
Always doing the best he can. You know, there's a lot of good stories out of this winter. His is up there with any of them.
Kendrick Carmouche, always a good story, and a winning ride, standing by live with Maggie.
Here with Kendrick Carmouche as he was aggressive with Mr. Phil. A horse you've ridden in the past, Kendrick, but getting the lead today, I think, made the big difference.
Yeah, you know, the way the track favoring, you know, I just had to change up some. You know, Rob say go to plan A, and if we don't make the lead, then go to B. And, you know, I just rode him away from there. He settled good, and he got into a good stride. I knew I could have hold him off.
Now, Kendrick, obviously last year was drama at this point in time. Sorry to bring it up again, but you've won many a riding title in your career. But for a guy like Dylan Davis, what's this mean?
It means a lot. Dylan, come. Come over here.
Come on, relax. Like Kendrick wants you.
You know, I come from Louisiana. I got 8, 9 titles underneath my belt, and I lost the title last year to Eric Kenso, which he rode all good last winter, and to beat me the last day by 6 wins. And you know, I congratulate him. These young guys, they get more aggressive. They want, you know, they want to make a name for themselves. And congratulations to Dylan Davis on this winter meet. And you know, I know how much it means to him. The Dylan family, the Davis family, they got a lot of them. You know, when you're born in this industry and you come from the roots to make it a leading title in New York, and you're from New York, I'm just happy for Dylan, you know, because if most people didn't understand the path that he had to take to get to this point, you know, 6 years ago, he didn't know where he wanted to be in his career. Now he's where he want to be, and, you know, he made leading jockey this winter. I take my hat off to him, and, you know, all the best, man. I hope they have many more in the future for you because, you know, we just got to keep riding hard and getting smarter.
Kendrick, thank you so much. That meant a lot. And from somebody like Kendrick who's been around in this game, and you're a little bit younger, what's that mean?
There's really no words. I'm really honored and grateful that I could get this, and thanks for Kendrick for the nice, kind words. But, you know, I couldn't do it without the big support team behind me, my family, and Mike Migliore, my agent. He's behind the scenes. He's working very hard day and night and putting the work in, and he's getting me the mounts, and I'm performing. And obviously the owners, the trainers, the horsemen in the backside, and the horses as well. You can't forget about them. If we don't have them, then we don't have this. And you know, looking for more. So I'm excited. I'm really happy I was able to get this title out of the way, and it took a long time to get here, and just looking for some more after that.
All right, Dylan, congratulations from all of us, and I think that was really poignant of what Kendrick said to Dylan, and it means a lot from a guy like Kendrick. Lafitte?
That was so cool. Class personified, Kendrick Carmouche, the appreciation from Dylan Davis, what he's accomplished. And by the way, after Kendrick Carmouche retires, Andy, he is taking your job.
He's welcome.
Just so you know now.
He's welcome to it. He can come up now if he'd like. Come on, Kendrick, get up. I told Jose Lezcano. He said to me yesterday, I'm going to come up and do your job. I said, anytime. Just come right up and relieve me. Listen, Kendrick is a gentleman. I mean, I don't think we need more and more examples, but everyone's an example. I think Kendrick's just happy that he didn't have a big lead mid-stretch and get run down today. But it also shows the respect among the riders, and it shows they battle each other on the racetrack, and I'm sure they sometimes have their disagreements. But it's a positive competition.
So competitive,
and,
but yet.
And Kendrick's happy to see other people doing well. He's comfortable where he is in the game, but he's happy to see other people do well.
Competitive, and it is a dangerous, dangerous sport for the riders as well. Gary Stevens standing by with an update. An incident earlier involving Big on Broadway and Christian Torres. Gary, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Lafitte, it appeared that Big on Broadway shied from something just entering the turn. Both horse and rider fell. The horse regained his feet, galloped in front of the grandstands. He was examined by the track veterinarian, walked home under his own power. Christian Torres was transported directly to a local hospital. When we get more news later on in the day, I'll report that to you. Lafitte.
Gary, thanks so much. Thoughts and prayers with Christian Torres after involved in that spill at Oaklawn. As our coverage continues, we'll be right back.
Run Happy was a #1 second crop sire by graded stakes winners and earnings. Run Happy is represented by Smile Happy, the Kentucky Derby individual future pool favorite. A leading dirt sire and now with an exciting Kentucky Derby hopeful. Call Bernie Sams now and book your mare to Eclipse Champion Run Happy right now. Run Happy standing in stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
So glad you could join us on America's Day at the Races. Sunday coverage continuing. Wall-to-wall racing, Tampa Bay Downs, a couple of stakes races left, Aqueduct, closing day winter meet, and Oaklawn. We'll have a preview of the Arkansas Derby drawn earlier today, a little bit later on. Keep prep for the Kentucky Derby, Grade 1, $1.25 million purse. That's next Saturday. One jockey who's won 3 Kentucky Derbies, Gary Stevens, just like yourself, and in the Hall of Fame, Calvin Burrell. How is he still doing this?
He absolutely loves what he's doing. I can't see Calvin ever stopping getting on horses, whether it's in the afternoon or the mornings. I think he enjoys the mornings just as much as he does the afternoons, just as I did. I do my walk arounds every morning bright and early. Renee, his wife, and Calvin are always there. They're stabled in Larry Jones's barn. That's only fitting. Big support from Larry throughout his career. Listen, he's not riding as much as he was. He's spending more time at that barn. He's individual with those horses. With Renee, she's leading him to and from the racetrack, schooling horses in the starting gate. Listen, we know how dangerous this game is. And Boo is happier on a horse's back than he is with his feet on the ground. He's always got a smile on his face, just a class act. You know, he rode tight, but he was always a fair rider. And he was great to ride with, a true competitor. He's still competitive now. And listen, he's not getting the opportunities that he's gotten in years past, but to watch him ride, he's still got the same style. He's still got the same finish. He's still trying to get through on that fence. Calvin Burrell, any time that he can get through on the fence, he will. Fortunately, he's just not getting armed with as much weaponry as he used to in the past, but he's still enjoying himself every moment that he's out here at the racetrack, guys.
Those 3 Kentucky Derby wins, a Super Saver, a first for Todd Pletcher, Mind That Bird at 1,000 to 1, and Street Sense. You get bored once in a while, just pull that race up and watch it from start to finish and how far he was back, 18th, 19th, whatever it was, and went around one horse. One horse he went around on the rail the entire time.
Mind That Bird.
Street Sense.
Oh, Street Sense, yeah. You know, Street Sense he was the perfect rider for Street Sense because Street Sense was an unusual racehorse that was a rail runner. He was most comfortable. Not that he couldn't pass on the outside, but if you think about his Breeders' Cup Juvenile, you think about his races, he was most comfortable moving inside of horses, so it fit very well for Calvin Borel.
Perfectly designed for Churchill Downs.
Yeah, he
and
was.
Big Field.
No, he was a terrific. I mean, that was, you think about him and Curlin and Hardspun. That was three very, very, very good racehorses the same year.
And a filly won the Belmont in Rags to Riches.
Right. Amazing, right? Amazing. She beat Curlin, and she was,
and stumbled.
Yeah.
Badly leaving the gate.
I can remember. I was sitting right there. I remember it happened sort of in front of me. We were sitting watching it, but that was a thrilling race as well. And Curlin was still lightly raced, and of course, unfortunately for Rags to Riches, she only ran that one other race, and she actually lost. I think an interesting thing here, and I want John's opinion here, is, and I do think the 8's the one to beat. The 5 and 6, 2 sprinters stretching out. Shouldn't they be battling up front?
Question mark? JK?
Look, I've always liked Tomato Bill to a certain extent as a speed type, but I honestly feel like this is a 2-horse race between the 2 and the 8, and it's hard to kind of decide what you want to do here because you have 2 successful claiming trainers claiming off one another. You got the 8 River Echo, who's getting claimed off of Broberg going into Diodoro's barn, and then you have the 2 Hardly a Secret, who was claimed 2 back off of Diodoro, now in Broberg's barn. I mean, I just want to pick both of them, but I guess I'll go with the outside horse, the 8. This is a horse that at least is drawn better than the other one, but they're both extremely likely. And a funny Calvin Borel story: my first Kentucky Derby and my first Kentucky Oaks, Rachel Alexandra on Friday, Mind That Bird on Saturday.
The tour de force from Rachel Alexandra. 20-length win in the Kentucky Oaks. Mind That Bird, 50-1 shot. You know what Borel did the morning after he won that first Kentucky Derby Street Sense?
Had breakfast?
Had breakfast, Andy. He was, because that's the reason you tell this story. He was.
You're going to miss me.
When is my flight? When can I my flight? Maggie's sitting down with you, not the.
You asked for it.
He was, so his brother Cecil, a trainer, in his brother's stall at like 5:30 in the morning, mucking his brother's stall the day after he won the world's most prestigious horse race.
There's a joke in there somewhere, right?
If there is, I'm sure you'll find it along
my
with
greatest
breakfast.
memory of Mind That Bird when he won, like so many people, I looked and said, who is this?
I thought Summerbird.
And
I thought Summerbird. I heard Bird.
I said, oh, yeah, I bet him 2 back when he had a tough trip and got beaten in the neck in, like, the Borderland Derby or one of those races at Sunland or wherever he was. Yeah, I had bet him 2 back. That didn't mean I would have bet him in that race, but he'd have a tough trip.
Calvin Borel riding in this one. Let's see how it unfolds. Vic Stauffer with the call, race 6, Oaklawn Park.
They're at the post. They're off. Tomato Bill wins the break from Hardly a Secret and Cashinova at the rail. Cabot's into the bid as well. River Echo could be wide at the clubhouse turn. Then comes All West and Zittman, and the trailer is Sacred Oath. It is Tomato Bill to clear off to the backstretch, and River Echo follows him, so Tomato Bill is the leader. Cashinova is second, just by a head from River Echo in third. Then 2 lengths, 2. Hardly a Secret, Cabot, All West 4 deep, and Zittman at the rail. And the trailer is still Sacred Oath. Only about 6 lengths first to last. Finish line is the 16th pole, and Tomato Bill is the leader. It is Tomato Bill from River Echo in second. Cabot is moved up into third by the Hall of Famer Calvin Borel. All West is outside of him. Hardly a Secret is between horses, and Cashinova at the rail. They're all about 4 from the front. The 2 trailers now are Zittman and Sacred Oath. They run into the far turn. Tomato Bill with River Echo tracking him in second. Tomato Bill, a length in front. Now Hardly a Secret makes his move. And there goes Hardly a Secret, and he just ran right by River Echo, who's going to have to try to respond. But Hardly a Secret has just made a big move, and he's the new leader at the top of the stretch. He's now a half length in front of Tomato Bill. River Echo can't do it. He is backed out. He's passed by Cashinova, and Hardly a Secret is the one to beat, and he's going to be tough to beat. Hardly a Secret, final 16th of a mile, a 4-length lead on Tomato Bill, Cashinova, and River Echo, and Hardly a Secret is now 6 in front. Tomato Bill, Cashinova, Hardly a Secret. Hardly a Secret won by 7. Tomato Bill was second, Cashinova third. Close for fourth between River Echo and Zittman.
A blowout, Andy. Hardly a secret by many.
Well, as Jonathan accurately said before the race, on paper it was kind of a two-horse race between the favorites, the 2 and 8. And when the 8 River Echo was just sort of a complete no-show around the turn, it really left sort of nothing, else there. And this horse, Hardly a Secret, was able to just gallop.
Stay tuned for those results. Hardly a Secret, making it look all too easy in this 6th race at Oaklawn Park. Maggie said something about it snowing here in New York. I thought she was kidding when she was talking to Rudy Rodriguez. It's snowing, Andy.
I'm glad we're inside.
Who says chivalry's dead? 73 in here. Maggie's outside freezing, and Andy's like, I'm happy I'm inside.
Oh, she'll be inside soon. She's tougher than I am anyway.
Something we can all agree on, Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Lafitte. I take pride in being tougher than Andy. Maybe. So we'll take a look at the heavy favorite in here. That's Yo Cuz. And honestly, I'm surprised we see her back in kind of New York bred company, but hey, the pots are lucrative. I get it. Capitalize on having a young New York bred that is talented. I do think she does get better with more ground, so I'm not totally in love with the fact that she turns back to the 7 furlongs today. But once again, she marches forward physically. A horse that didn't look, she definitely looks way different than what she did first time out. I mean, she just looked not like a athlete, and she was clueless, and now she's so much more focused. She's so much stronger, especially behind the saddle. So she looks good in that sense, but I do think there's some other talented fillies in here, and yeah, she's not going to get a walk in the park on the front end, but at least she is out wide. And we'll take a look at 2 of the 3 gray fillies in here in the 6-horse field. Now, I'm a fan of number 3, Stone Creator, because she's another one that she won that debut just because she was so much better, but she was a little bit nervous. She just seemed a bit raw as far as her mentality and her physicality. And she's one that really has taken a step forward with each and every start so far. She's even stronger yet again. She's even more focused. It's like she came over, she ran that first time, and her 2 starts since then, she's like, I know I'm here. I know my job. This is great, and I am all about my business. And she comes in here with a very fast workout on the Belmont training track back on March 20th. And hopefully it set her up where she needs to be. And yeah, she's another one like Yo Cuz. I think maybe longer is a little bit better, but with her, I'm a little bit more positive about getting back to the 7 furlongs. As number 4, Sandy's Garden, she's quick, probably not as quick as the other gray, the rail runner, Silver Fist, but Sandy's Garden, I don't know about the decision going to the wide country down at Laurel last time. She was beaten by a talented filly, Luna Bell, who came back and ran an 85. But Sandy's Garden has done well since the last time I had seen her back in January. Filled out yet again, put on some weight. I like her, maybe not as much as the favorites, but I do think she is a talented filly. We'll see how she does at the 7-8. It's a distance that I do think fits her well, Lafitte.
Adding more fuel to the pace fire, Andy. She's quick, that's Sandy's Garden.
Well, she's quick, but so is the horse in the rail, and it's hard to imagine the horse in the rail, when she breaks, is not going to be going here. I mean, Manny Franco has no choice. She's pretty quick. I also don't think she's that bad. I think this is a very, very different race for Yo Cuz than the previous ones. And I think she's extremely vulnerable to Stone Creator. And I won't be surprised to see their odds get a little bit closer as we get closer to post. Maybe more like 4-5 and 8-5 or so. And I think they should be.
The last time they met, Yo Cuz quickly dispatches of Stone Creator. And why do you think this will be different?
Because I think that Stone Creator was playing Yo Cuz's game last time out. And I do think there's a possibility that Yo Cuz could be playing more of Stone Creator's race. Keep in mind, Stone Creator, listen, her debut, she had a good rail, and she got a 71 buyer, but she's been over the racetrack. Her second race was much better. She was stalking in that race. I think she took a step forward. Yo Cuz is forced to stalk. Now, I'm not saying she won't be able to stalk, and I'm not saying she's not going to get a good trip. But she has won 2 straight races on the front end, and it is highly improbable that that's going to happen here. And we've certainly seen our share of horses that look good in the front end that came back and didn't run as well when they didn't get to dictate. And she's 1-2. She's not 6-1. So you better be very confident she's going to do it. And yes, she was better than Stone Creator last time. That was Stone Creator's second start. It was Yo Cuz's third. Stone Creator has a chance to move forward. She worked very well going into this race, and I believe she's going to be a very, very tough rival for Yo Cuz. Am I confident she's going to beat her? Fairly.
3-1 confident. Roddy Valente, owner breeder, loves what Andy's saying. Owner breeder, Stone Creator. JK, who takes down this closing day winter meat Eastview Stakes?
Yeah, I mean, look, the 5-Yo Cuz it deserves to be favored. It doesn't probably deserve to be 1-2. It does have a figure edge, but with these young horses, it's not a big enough figure edge for you to just go ahead and walk her into the winner's circle and take her picture. She is drawn well towards the outside, which I think helps a lot, and I say that often, but I really do think it's a big edge when you're a tactical horse and you're drawn towards the outside. So, yes, she's the most likely winner. But the horse that I kind of wanted to mention just for a second, the 4, Sandy's Garden. This is a horse that I also think could possibly jump up for a lot of the same reasons that Andy kind of mentioned with the 3 Stone Creator. I think Sandy's Garden, she's got some back races. She seemed to be progressing. She got hooked into a speed duel last time, and of all of the speed horses that were involved in that early pace, she was the one that kind of stuck around the most, the speed of the speed, as it were, and I like to kind of upgrade those horses. If she was drawn towards the outside, I would be a little bit more bullish on her chances, but with having Yo Cuz kind of lap to her outside, it might not be ideal for her. Like we mentioned in the pick 4 that I played, I did use the 4 kind of as a backup saver type, but because we've already hit a backup, we're basically singled to the 5 Yo Cuz here. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if the 4 outran her odds of 7-1.
Some anticipated fireworks early in this East View. Sandy's Garden fast, Yo Cuz fast, Silver Fist fast.
Jonathan and I strongly disagree in this race. Sandy's Garden rode a Gold Rail 2 back. She didn't run bad last time, but you take a good look at the PPs with second horse in that race, she's very unappealing. I think Silver Fist is going to be in front, and she may be a weird long shot upset chance.
Feature Aqueduct, second of 3 stakes races, Tampa Bay Downs, Pleasant Acres, Stallions, Distaff, Turf Stakes, long name, and a heavy favorite in Shifty She. Now this favorite I know you do trust going in.
I am not shocked. I mean, I expected Shamrocket to win. I'm not trying to say I didn't. But I'm going to be shocked if this filly doesn't win because she's really good. I mean, he's got a horse that lost by 2 lengths, 2 3/4 to Regal Glory last time out, who is really, really good. You know, Sweet Melania, who does well in Florida in her races. I mean, she beat some nice horses in this race. The Noble Damsel at Belmont. She's been consistent. There's nothing wrong with her form. And who in this race can run with her? She's a lone speed, and the only horse on paper that makes any sense whatsoever is the 3-hour Flash Drive. She hasn't run a race since October, and she's going to have to improve to beat her. Not impossible. Not saying if she loses, if the favorite loses, she'll lose to this horse. Because Onyx, who has some figs, she got better when she was going in those 1 and 3/8 races. She got better with distance, and now she cuts back. I don't like her at all.
Shifty She 1-2. An update on fallen rider Christian Torres. Heard from Ruben Munoz, his agent, Ricardo Santana's agent. He says, quote, he is alert, full mobility, able to move his legs, lower back and hip pain. Lower back and hip pain on his right side for Christian Torres. Any other update, we'll pass that along. He is on his way to the hospital involved in that spill earlier at Oaklawn Park. Post time here for the Pleasant Acres Stallions Distaff Turf Stakes. $110,000 purse. All eyes on the heavy favorite, Shifty She. Odds on, here's Jason Beam.
Martina Extravagant Rosie will be all set for a start. The Pleasant Acres Stallions Distaff Turf started a late pick 3 today on a Florida Cup day. Chick Shadow restless in gate 4. Settles down. Extravagant Rosie to complete the line. Just about set for a start. They're in the gate. Yeah, the race is on. Beautiful start for the favorite Shifty She, who goes right to the front at once. Monastella came away in good order. Extravagant Rosie up from the outside, also forwardly placed, and now takes over the second spot. As they come into the stretch for the first time round, and it is the big favorite Shifty She in command with 7 furlongs left to go. Extravagant Rosie up from the outside, now second. Monastella's back third down along the inside. It's a length and a half more, then back to Sip and Dip in fourth. Our Flash Drive is fifth right now, about 4.5 lengths behind the speed. It's 2 more lengths then, back to Chick Shadow. After that comes Mia Martina, who's third last. Lovey Lovey with 1 beat early on, and that's Onyx, who is the trailer. And Shifty She through an opening quarter in 23 and 4/5 seconds. Leads him onto the backstretch in front by a length to Extravagant Rosie. Monastella continues to travel nicely down toward the inside in that third spot. Length and a half more back to Sip and Dip, Our Flash Drive. They raced together as a team 4th and 5th. They're 2.5 clear of Mia Martina. Down on the inside, then comes Chick Shadow. Lovely Lovey still with just the one beat, and that's Onyx, who's the trailer. 3.5 furlongs to go in the Pleasant Acre Stallions Distaff Turf, and it's Shifty She. Shifty She at 3-5 after that opening half in 47 2/5 seconds. Takes him by the 3. It's pole length and 3/4 in front now. Mona Stella's up to second. Extravagant Rosie drops out. Passed on the outside by our Flash Drive, who's starting to move into third. Mia Martinez trying to get going from the back. Lovely Lovey is also starting to pick up. Shifty She comes by the quarter pole. The lead is 1.5 lengths. Our Flash Drive up on the outside now second. Mona Stella, Mia Martina just in behind them. Final furlong left to go now. Shifty She. Edwin Gonzalez says go. Shifty She still in front by 2.5 lengths to our Flash Drive. Mona Stella, they're battling second and third, but Shifty She by the 16th pole, well in command here. Shifty She going to take him all the way here. Shifty She wins it by 4.5 in the end. Second ended up really close. It's either our Flash Drive or Mona Stella. Late run from Lovey Lovey to Photo with Mia Martina for fourth.
Fired up, Edwin Gonzalez, the fist pump of the wire with Shifty She. That about what you expected?
Yes. I mean, I think that's what about everybody expected. Because the difference between her and the favorite of the last race was that she's been effective in these distances and she could control on the front end, whereas a horse like Shamrocket, the circumstances are going to dictate the race a little bit. And when you have a horse, and something I know Jonathan agrees with, that you know, and she's a very short price, but you know is going to be in a position to dictate the way the race is going to be run, it's a lot more easy to be confident in those horses than ones that need the race a little dictated for them.
Grade 3 Noble Damsel winner, Belmont Park, Shifty She in the Pleasant Acres Stallions Distaff Turf Stakes. And stakes racing here at Aqueduct as well with this Eastview. 3-year-old fillies, extended sprint, 7 furlongs, $100,000 purse, New York bred. Live look there, it's Sandy's Garden. Maggie liked what she saw there in the paddock. JK as well. You're against this one in this spot.
Well, she's 6-1. I'm not doing anything clever. I don't think she's a contender. I think Jonathan made reasonable points about her, but I respect their opinions. But I think that if you want a long shot here, once again, I like Stone Creator in here quite a bit, but Silver Fist was running mid-60 buyers, and that was 4 months ago. Routine Improvement says this horse could easily improve 6 to 8 points. Gets the figure in the mid-70s, which easily puts the horse in position to be as good as pretty much anybody in here, and maybe since the favorite, who had everything her own way last time and ran a 79. She's also theoretically the controlling speed from the inside. She's got to get 7 furlongs off the layoff. But for Chuck Lawrence to even put her in the spot, I think it shows confidence, because she is a non-winners of one. Now, maybe it came up and there wasn't a non-winners of one, and he's trying to get a race into her. But if you want a long shot, I'm hoping Silver Fist tries to wire this field. I played a little, actually, 1-3 exacta box, but I bet Stone Creator here. I'm not going to be shocked when Yo Cuz wins here, but I think Yo Cuz, to bet her trying to do something she hasn't shown she can do successfully before at a short price, in my opinion, that's a mistake.
Silver Fist, Maggie, right on cue.
Excellent segue, Andy. Thank you very much. I thought everything that Andy said, and just to plug in my physical notes with her, she's done well. This is a filly that took a long time to get really race fit, and I was expecting kind of the same thing coming back off the layoff. Not the case. She looks just as good as when she broke her maiden, if not better. I just don't like the 7 furlongs for her coming back. I think it's a really tough task for a filly that looks like your out-and-out 6 furlong dirt sprinter, Lafitte.
Taxing, demanding distance, especially for a comebacking racehorse, Silver Fist. Quick, drawn inside, perhaps live at a price 15-1. Final thoughts here, Andy, as they move in.
I'm all in on Stone Creator, a little 1-3 box. I'm trying to beat Yo Cuz. We'll see how it plays out.
3-5 odds on Yo Cuz. All set for the closing day feature, winding down the winter meet at Aqueduct. Spring meet begins on Thursday. Wood Memorial a week from Saturday. John Ambrial with the call. East View Stakes live from Aqueduct.
In the gate now for the 83rd running of the Eastview Stakes. And they're off. A bobbling start for number 1, Silver Fist, and she is the trailer. Yo Cuz is going out for the early lead. Sandy's Garden races in second as Stone Creator moves up on the outside from third, and Silver Fist advances at the rail. Captain's Daughter is next in fifth, and Salsa Aparte is the trailer. Yo Cuz, the odds-on favorite, is the leader here. Steadying there in between horses with Sandy's Garden. Sandy's Garden, tough to handle there. Silver Fist has come on through now to take second. Stone Creator is moving up on the outside, and Sandy's Garden is now back running in fourth. The quarter went in 23 and 4/5 seconds. It is Yo Cuz, the leader by 3/4 of a length. Stone Creator moving up on the outside now into second. Sandy's Garden has advanced into third with Silver Fist down at the rail back and forth. Farther back, Salsa Aparte and Captain's Daughter. It is Yo Cuz with the lead over Stone Creator after a half and 47 and 4. And they're coming for the top of the stretch. And Yo Cuz confidently ridden here by Jose Ortiz. Yo Cuz with the lead in the stretch, and the lead is now 4 lengths. Stone Creator giving chase in second. Sandy's Garden is next and third on the outside. Captain's Daughter. Yo Cuz has built a 6-length lead as they come on for the finish, and Yo Cuz about to cruise to victory in her 3rd straight stakes win here at Aqueduct. Yo Cuz the winner. Stone Creator held second. Captain's Daughter was third.
Fast filly, sharp filly, 3 straight Yo Cuz in the East View Stakes. Her task made that much easier when Silver Fist stumbled leaving the gate, and Sandy's Garden not encouraged to flash her typical early speed.
Right. I'm not saying Stone Creator would have beaten her, but there's no way to know if this race had been run in a fair manner. When Silver Fist gets completely left, and listen, Yo Cuz is a very nice horse. I don't want to pretend she's not. She was obviously an easy winner in this race, but she also had everything her own way. She's absolutely crawling on the front end. In a race that figured to feature a reasonable pace, they went almost 24 and 48. We've seen fractions that are significantly faster. So I have to think that Trevor McCarthy was writing instructions because
Watch Silver Fist.
So Silver Fist loses all chance to start and completely changed the race. Trevor McCarthy is not a bonehead, so I don't think he intentionally gave his horse no chance by this ride. They're going slow, and he's taking back a fast horse. Her speed is her weapon. This is not what Trevor does. This has to be instructions. The 3 Stone Creator doesn't break sharply, and they're walking up front. So, yeah, of course Yo Cuz won easily, and I'm not knocking Yo Cuz. She's the best horse in the race, and she's a deserving winner. But this race was completely changed by a whole series of events that happened at the start, not just one.
You see Yo Cuz all by herself, but yes, we're speculating, but you almost feel like the game plan was, all right, Silver Fist is really fast. Yo Cuz is really fast. Maybe we sit just off of him today. You know, he doesn't see Silver Fist stumble. And if that was the game plan going in, maybe we're going to relax a little bit today, sit just off the speed, and it doesn't work out.
Right.
Again, speculating.
No, I hear you.
I hear you,
and I don't. Trevor McCarthy is a very, very thoughtful rider. This is uncharacteristic. And when riders that you know are thinking riders that ride smart do things that make no sense, there's a good chance that there was a discussion and it was a game plan. It was a poor game plan, and it helped Yo Cuz, and it gave her absolutely no chance to get any peace whatsoever.
Of course, it looks worse when the other filly stumbles, and the 3-5 favorite is all by herself, controlling things. But
this is a nice horse, to be
absolutely, fair. And taking it all in, very professional Yo Cuz, Dreammaker Racing. Hall of Famer Bill Mott, Jose Ortiz, so much for jet lag, no substitute for youth, back from Dubai and back riding a stakes winner at Aqueduct. Also, Arkansas Derby. The one-eyed wonder. 75-1. Unoho in the Rebel. Can he do it again? He's going to try. The Arkansas Derby in 6 days, Oaklawn's marquee event.
Catholic Boy, one of only 3 American 3-year-old colts in history to win Grade 1s on both dirt and turf, including the immortal Secretariat. A 6-time graded stakes winner from ages 2 to 4, he was the fastest 3-year-old of his crop over 10 furlongs. Now his progeny are bringing top dollar in the sales ring. Dual surface Grade 1 winner Catholic Boy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Live coverage continuing from the Big A, where we just watched Yo Cuz had things all her own way early and dominates in the East View Stakes, entering the winner's circle. 3 straight for Yo Cuz. Down to Maggie in the winner's circle.
I'm pleased to be here with one of the partners from Dreammaker Racing, Sean Myers. And Sean, first of all, I got to ask, you were present the day that she was bought at the Timonium sale. And interesting, because she didn't actually have a workout. She just galloped. So with you and Tom Galloway and everybody as part of the team, what was it about this filly?
As the handler said, she's like Julia Roberts. She's all legs. And Hidden Brook guys were great in telling us about her, and we looked at her, you know, her breeding, and she just seemed to be a natural, right, to look at, right? And thankfully they got her. I mean, you know, I know they had to go above what they wanted, but learning more about the breeder, Ms. Seidman, I mean, she seems like a great breeder, and so we're just so pleased that, you know, we had this chance.
Yeah, exactly. And two, a filly that didn't really figure things out until she had a race under her belt, and she has rattled off 3 impressive victories since then.
Absolutely. Couldn't be more pleased, couldn't be more surprised. First stakes win here in New York for us as owners with Dreammaker. It's really just an incredible experience, and you know, it's just something we just cherish, you know, right? I mean, because you're right, the first race, she got a rough start at the gate, but she did make a late move, got a lot of education out of that, and now she's showing what she can do. We're just so pleased.
Mid-Atlantic guy, so you have my heartstrings for that. But coming up here to New York, are you going to make a lot more trips out of it?
Oh, you can believe it. Yes, Saratoga, here we come, right?
And she looks as though she might be good enough to handle Open Company. Is that something, obviously, you guys will all have to discuss, but you thinking about that?
Oh, you dream about that, right? You dream about that. New York bred's the first step. Open Company would just be something magical, right? Just a chance.
Well, Sean, well done making the trip up, and congratulations. Makes it all worth it with this Eastview win.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Well, Sean Myers and the Dreammaker stable, they have a very talented New York bred filly on their hands, Lafitte.
You're not kidding. Great story. First stakes win in New York, Andy, for newer fans, viewers of the sport. How much of a difference is that when they're talking about state-bred company? Yo Cuz running against horses bred in New York versus facing Open Company. Why significant?
Well, I don't know. In her case, she might want to avoid a New York bred named Venti Valentine. So I'm not sure, because Venti Valentine won her Busher, and in this case, a New York bred, she may be one of the favorites depending on what she does in the Gazelle. If she runs like she did in the Bush and the Gazelle, she's going to be one of the favorites in the Kentucky Oaks. Certainly one of the top 4 or 5 choices. Listen, I don't want to. I feel like, I'm not saying you're trying to do it or any of us trying to do it. You don't want to disparage the New York bred program by saying, oh, it's so much harder to win with Open Company. But obviously, you're facing horses that are bred all around the country. There have been a Derby winner was a New York bred. So she's obviously a nice horse. How good she is, we'll find out as she goes on. Because I'm not knocking her, but she has had unbelievably favorable circumstances in her 3 wins. It's not a criticism, it's a fact. So she's going to have to overcome some adversity at some point. She's going to have to get a little faster in all likelihood. Though this was, I think, a step in the right direction, albeit with a very, very soft trip. We'll see. We'll see. The 3-year-old fillies all around the country are not a deep, fast group. So with a little improvement, and if she can overcome some adversity, maybe she will belong.
That one we saw yesterday at Oaklawn's fast. Pretty Birdie.
Yeah.
Purple Martin. 95 by her speed figure for Norm Cassie. Awesome in the Purple Martin. Out to Gary Stevens standing by at Oaklawn with about 2 minutes until the 7th at Oaklawn. Gary.
Yeah, guys, I was asked about Giovanni Franco's development here at Oaklawn Park. Well, I've noticed a couple things about Giovanni. He's a very intellectual person. He's a smart guy. He's very hard on himself when he makes a mistake in a race. I told him, I said, leave it on the racetrack. It's turf history. Just don't make the same mistake twice. He asked me about a month ago. He said, Gary, am I being a little lackadaisical leaving the gate? And I said, yes, you are. I said, you've got to be more assertive on this racetrack. It plays like a turf course, and he rides a very, very good turf race. So I told him, I said, listen, it's very important when you're in these route races or sprint races, Get them on their feet. Get their mind on running early on. Get your position and then ride your race wherever you happen to be. And he's applied that. He's done that. He's riding with a lot more confidence than when we first came here. He wasn't getting near as many opportunities in California as what he's gotten here. And his business continues to blossom as we go along later on to the latter half of this meet, or the latter third of this meet. It's been fun to watch. He's a funny guy. Andy was talking about his Twitter or his tweets that he puts on social media. He's a character, but super intelligent guy, and he's just riding with a lot of confidence right now. He's finishing stronger than I've ever seen him finish in his career. And I think a lot of that has to do with the riding crop restrictions in California. Not the number of strikes that you can have, but you're not allowed to turn your whip over. And it was really messing with his mind. When we came here, he said, I'm out of practice. And it took him about 5 days of racing before he got back to his old ways where he was really finishing strong. So it's been fun to watch, and I'm expecting more good things out of Giovanni Franco. Hopefully we can get lucky here with Bally Dreamin', guys.
Gary, how hard is that? You know how whether it's a hitter in baseball and the hitting instructor is asking him to make adjustments with his stance, or maybe a pitcher and mechanics, or a quarterback and mechanics, where it can feel unorthodox at first for a rider. If you're being coached and you're told to change something that comes natural, and to make that adjustment, how hard was that for you? How hard is that in general?
Well, listen, this is a sport that's an individual sport. We don't have coaches. We don't have someone critiquing us constantly. Well, my biggest critic was myself and my older brother, Scott. If Scott saw me right up until the day that I quit riding, do something, you're overriding, don't hit this horse left-handed, don't do this, don't do that. There's just small nuances that only another jockey can spot. And as competitive as this game is, nobody's going to help you 90% of the time. So I don't think that Gio really ever had anybody coaching him a whole lot other than agents, and a majority of agents have never been on a horse. But they're good. Don't get me wrong. They're good at their jobs, and they can pick out things that are going wrong. But Mike Smith and I, we would help each other from the first time that I ever met Mike. If we noticed that we were doing something wrong, one or the other, or the two, if we thought we had made a mistake, we'd ask one another, hey, did I do something wrong here? And we'd be blunt with each other. Yeah, you messed up. But, they're just small adjustments sometimes that are unnoticeable to the regular racing patron, racing fan, if you will. So I think that it's small mechanical things or mental things that can be corrected very short and very simply.
Good stuff, Gary. And yeah, good luck here with Bally Dreamin' and Giovanni Franco. He's close with the connections, owned by Mark DiDomenico, trained by Mike Puich, and Bally Dreamin', Andy, live on the tote board. First-time starter, debuting filly, 12-1 on the morning line, 5-1 here as they circle about before this seventh race.
I agree, and was going to say the same thing. One thing I'll disagree with Gary. They have a lot of people who give instructions. There are people like me who bet them. They just don't listen to us. And they're probably right.
Always open to taking that criticism from you, yes?
Right. I'm a big fan of Giovanni Franco. I think it's one of the things I've liked about this winner, seeing him on Twitter and watching him ride. And he's an impossible guy based on that, at least for me, not to like. And Bally Dreamin' is taking some money. You wouldn't necessarily expect these connections to take a lot of money. He's got some decent works, probably why he's getting bet. Or she's getting bet, excuse me. I'll tell you what's odd, and it's coming down. When Gary was talking, the 8 was 11-1 and the 9 was 6-5. The 9 is supposed to be the speed in here, is the horse to beat. But I'm not exactly sure. One horse off the claim for Asmussen, one off the claim for Diodoro. And I understand Diodoro claimed from a lesser-known trainer. Asmussen claimed from Cox. And I'm not saying the 8 is a more likely winner, because she's not. But they weren't supposed to be 6-5 and 11-1. Now they're 6-5 and 7-1. I still think there's probably too big a gap.
Princess, Dreamcess, out in front. That was on the 15th of January. They come up about a half length short in this one. Andy, what'd you make of this performance?
Well, I bet her, so it's kind of annoying if you're interested. But thanks for asking me what I think about it. I think wanting to vomit.
Say that in the trouble notes?
I thought, listen, she's a nice horse. And the thing is, good claim by Diodoro. I think Ingrid Mason does a very good job, so I'm not, but it's Diodoro. And also, she is supposed to clear, but I think you have to worry about something. You've got 3 firsters, and particularly with the 3 Bally Dreamin' who's taking money. And when firsters get bet, and not this horse is bet off the board, but they usually have speed. That could be a concern, but she is the worst to beat.
Improved effort, and I didn't think she coughed it up. I thought the other filly went out and got her.
I agree. I think I bet the right horse, and I got unlucky and lost. Exactly what I think, Lafitte. Thank you for backing me up.
$75,000 maiden claimer. 3-year-old fillies, 6 furlongs. Vic Stauffer standing by with the call. Post time, race 7 live, Oaklawn.
Argumental. Sweet Beauty. Last to load, Prince Dreamsis. They're at the post. They're off. Slow start, Beachbody. Fast start, Muse and Prince Dreamsis. Then comes Argumental and Sophie Grace. Camaraderie is at the rail. Then comes Bally Dreamin', followed by Sweet Beauty and Verklempt. And Beachbody is far behind. Prince Dreamsis clears off up the backside. So Prince Dreamsis has a 2.5 length advantage on Argumental in second. Then comes Muse and Camaraderie. Bally Dreamin' is behind horses. Sophie Grace 3 wide, leaving the backstretch. They're both about 5 from the front. 2 back to Sweet Beauty and Verklempt, and desperately last is Beachbody, and Prince Dreamsis is the leader. Prince Dreamsis to the quarter pole, but here comes Argumental, and Argumental is on the move. So is Camaraderie, and Prince Dreamsis is gone. She suddenly backed out, and she is going to get nothing. So the top of the stretch, it all changes with Argumental and Camaraderie. They're 1-2. Bally Dreamin' is third. Sophie Grace is fourth, and Camaraderie now takes charge, and she's 3 lengths in front. Bally Dreamin' moves up into second, then Argumental and Sophie Grace, but it is Camaraderie in front. Bally Dreamin' trying to catch her. Camaraderie, Bally Dreamin' trying her heart out, but she's second best. Camaraderie. Camaraderie beat Bally Dreamin'. Sophie Grace was third, and Argumental finished fourth.
North America's all-time leading trainer, Steve Asmussen, first after the claim. Camaraderie holds on. Bally Dreamin' and Giovanni Franco plugging away. She wouldn't switch leads, Andy, and I think it cost her.
And you see that with first-time starters sometimes. She didn't break as sharply, made a big run on the turn, looked like a winner on the turn. The other Asmussen claim got it done. This one claim from Danny Pites, getting it done and running well to do it. Obviously, something went wrong with the number 9, Princess Dreamsis.
She was cruising.
She was cruising,
and then
stopped.
she was fifth.
She stopped, right. She stopped. Something went wrong. I mean, you can see her basically being eased towards the back of the pack. Something went wrong.
As that filly, Camaraderie, takes full advantage, holding off Bally Dreamin' live on the toe board, and she ran accordingly. Big effort there. Second on this afternoon. We'll see how she does when she resurfaces, trying to graduate in her second career start. That was Ramon Vasquez who won. Ramon Vasquez rides Secret Oath, who's trained by Dwayne Lucas. The coach, the legend, Secret Oath, ready to tackle the boys in 6 days in the Grade 1, $1.25 million Arkansas Derby. Stay tuned.
Charlatan is back, and he turns it on with 1/8 of a mile to go. Express Train moves into second. Nashville dropping out of it, and then Collusion Illusion. What a spectacular return for Charlatan, who will romp in the run-happy Malibu Stakes by 4.5 emphatic lengths. Charlatan, ultra impressive.
It's a new day for a new king.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
850, 75, 850, 75, 175, 175, 150, 175. Ralph, 850,000. Thank you.
Volatile in front by 2. Whitmore is down at the rail. Firenze Fire and Mind Control. It's Volatile in front as they pass the 16th pole. Volatile victorious in the Vanderbilt. 1 by 2 lengths.
850,000. Thank you.
Stay fabulous. Resorts World.
America's Day at the Races. Welcome back, as always, brought to you in part by Hillendale out of Lapa. Just saw race 7 Oaklawn. We'll have those results shortly. Camaraderie, Ramon Vasquez. He'll ride Un Ojo in the Arkansas Derby, 75-1 winner of the Rebel. Third of 3 straight stakes races, Andy, at Tampa Bay Downs. First 2 on grass. Now they're on the main track. You saw the field and updated odds with a 7-5 favorite. This Naira Sprint. Your thoughts going in?
Well, let me just say, this is the race everybody's been tuning in for the whole show for.
You're not kidding.
It's the NYRA Sprint. I mean, the NYRA Sprint, I don't know how it's not a grade 1, to be honest with you. It's a disgrace that it's not a grade 1. Jonathan, do something about that, will you?
Well, sure. Okay, let me see who I can get on the phone. I'd love to give you some creative and clever opinion here, but I think the 2 horses that are being bet are the right 2 horses. The 4 officiating, getting Lasix here, who has a big number last time, has big pace figures, and a 6-furlong dirt sprint. Those are all things that you want to see. The 5, Tap It to Win. Once upon a time, this is a horse that was an exciting stakes type animal. He just hasn't really lived up to that. Now he is drawn outside of his main competition. He does have a win over the surface. I don't get too caught up in the Tampa's a tricky surface thing, but it is a little bit different, and I think horses that run well over there should get a little bit of bonus points for that. But, I mean, I guess for the sake of picking one horse, I'll pick the horse that's a better price and drawn outside. Give me the 5, Tap It to Win.
Live Oak Plantation, Tap It to Win, has to deal with the likes of officiating, the Tom Fool winner here at Aqueduct, officiating in the Tom Fool. How impressed were you by this performance?
I was impressed. It was the best race he's ever run. I'm a little surprised, to be honest, that they tipped down, but I guess that's the prestige of the NYRA Sprint. It's
You're not kidding.
It's not a grade. It's not like the Carter. I mean, I would have thought that this was a prep for the Carter. I would have thought, why wouldn't you want to come back to the track you ran in and try for the Carter? But the appeal of the NYRA Sprint is huge, and heading down there. So I think the question to you, it's just 22 days ago. I'm not, it's probably a good sign they're running back, but do you think he'll run back to this? Because this is the best race he's ever run. If he runs this race again, Tap It to Win, who I kind of prefer, is going to have to run back the best race of his life, which he might do. But officiating ran last time.
Officiating. NYRA Sprint. Coverage continuing on America's Day at the Races. Of course, you can always get involved in the $200 deposit match at NYRABets.com. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com.
Is the 2 a little scary, real talk, with the scratch of the 3, the other Carlos David horse?
How does that change the race?
Well, this horse is lone speed in here. The horse is in awful form, but this horse has back races and is the speed, but it's just hard to like him off his recent form. But he is supposed to be in front in here.
NYRA Sprint Stakes, $100,000 purse, officiating the Tom Fool winner. Odds on it, post time. JK gives Tap It to Win a shot, as does Andy. What are we looking for right from the start?
The 2 to get to the front in here, and after that, I think officiating and Tap It to Win, both of them need to be reasonably close, and I think both of them will be looking at each other because they're the 2 to beat.
Post time for the NYRA Sprint live from Tampa. Here's Jason Beam.
Going in. They're in the gate. And the race is on in the NYRA Sprint. Broken a very good line. Putting from the outside, It's My House, right in between horses and down toward the inside. It is a Real Talk coming through to challenge those 3 right across the track as officiating, get a setup shop in behind them in 4th. Tap It to Win, right to that one's outside. So the 2 favorites, 4th and 5th right now. It's 2 more back to Cajun Casanova, who is the trailer. They have a half mile left to go. It's My House putting up on the outside, and Real Talk trying to hold rail position as they run toward that turn. Officiating just in behind them. Tap It to Win going to stay in the clear on the outside. The top 5 only separated by 2 as Tap It to Win tries to make a move there on the outside around officiating. They wind around that far turn. Puts ahead in front. Here's Tap It to Win up on the outside. It's My House still battling on down toward the inside. Officiating just in behind them. Real Talk is only 2.5 behind, and Cajun Casanova at the back, but just 5 lengths front to back. Officiating's under the whip and not gaining ground. They turn to the top of the stretch. Putting it up on the outside, Tap It to Win. These 2 coming to the furlong pole, Putting digs in. Tap It to Win on the outside. Officiating now starting to get going, is up to a joint 3rd with Cajun Casanova down the outside. 16th pole, Tap It to Win. Putting digs in toward the inside. Putting is resilient. Putting and Tap It to Win. They come to the wire. Putting Pudding gets the win. Tap it to win second. Long way back to Cajun Casanova and officiating.
Slugfest. Thriller in the Naira Bet Sprint. Pudding digging in, holding on, repelling the charge of Tap It to Win.
I'm not going to say that Pudding held firm. I'm just not going to say it, okay? That was quite a hang job, frankly, by Tap It to Win, but that also may have just been a good performance by Pudding. And congratulations to Elizabeth Dobles getting the win here. She's also the owner as well, along with Imaginary Stab. I like that stable name. Couldn't beat Gatsby 2 back. Didn't run badly behind kind of a slow pace in the Pelican last time at Tampa. Was very game today. Nice
What
win.
happened with officiating?
They came back too quick, probably.
Did not reproduce that Tom Fool form. We'll have those results from Tampa Pudding in the Naira Bet Sprint here in New York at Aqueduct for the 9th race. Post-parade, Mebs Webb, 3 minutes out.
Yeah, they asked us to sponsor this race, too, and we declined. The entry is favored. I hate entries from a gambling standpoint because they're just bad value. They're primarily betting Red Pepper Grill. The problem with Red Pepper Grill is, yeah, her last race will probably win this race. In fact, it almost certainly will. She'd run it once or twice before, but with absolutely no consistency. Is a race 2 back going to win it? No. Is a race 3 back going to win it? No. So I don't have the confidence that she's necessarily going to come back. She beat a pretty weak field, and this is one, too. And my original pick, the 6, scratched. I like the 4, Keep My Eye on the Boys, but I'm not confident. This horse has been off for 9 months, and they run back for 14,000.
There she is.
But I do think she's a reasonable alternative. She's run some pretty good races. The 7 furlong should be fine for her because she can go farther. I don't have a lot of confidence, but I think this entry at 4 to 5 is way over bet. And I don't have any argument the 1A's the horse to beat. But Calabogie Sound is extremely weak, though not impossible. But entries are bad gambles because they're almost always bad value.
4 to 5, 2 for 1. Eric Cancel, by the way. Eric Cancel taking over on Keep My Eye on the Boys. Andy's top selection here at 4 to 1, Maggie. The entry here, Red Pepper Grill with Manny Franco. Pictured. Your thoughts?
I think she makes sense, as Andy was pointing out, but there's reasons to find some alternatives. But the fact of the matter is she does look best from the physical perspective of things. A happy horse too, she's always been one that's looked good physically, but when she's kind of happy and lively in the preliminaries, she usually does tend to run well. Now, number 4, Keep My Eye on the Boys. I like the turn back actually with her, and despite the layoff, I think this is where she belongs, participating on the Naira circuit. She belongs in a condition claimer like this, but she's fit, and that's sometimes not the case with Chris. Oh, it looks as though she is a late scratch here. Okay, Keep My Eye on the Boys is a late scratch. Moving on, Coalescent. She's a weird one. I've liked her in her 2 races coming back. She hasn't taken much money for a barn and Rob Atras that does well, obviously, and she hasn't run well. Again, I was expecting her to be a somewhat shorter type of price here. Not really. She looks great again, but as we do see, Keep My Eye on the Boys heading back to the stable area right now. Eric Cancel with his tack, but Coalescent. At this level, the fact that Rob runs her right back off another poor effort, I'd be willing to give her a look, Lafitte.
Trevor McCarthy, Maggie, Coalescent. Your top 2 picks have now scratched.
Yeah. They're looking at my picks. I scratched into the entry, but I don't like Coalescent, but she would be my other horse in here, like Maggie, saying, like me, she's reaching. She has been atrocious since she came back here, but she is dropping down, and this is a dubious entry, but they may be winning this race by default.
And now the price will plummet further.
Yeah, it's going to come down a little bit. And, if you use the 4 in multi-race bets, the 4, the 5, the 6, pick 4, 5, 6. I assume the pick 6 is a carryover. You get the post-time favorite, which is the entry.
Final race of the winter meet. 15 days of spring coming up. A week from Saturday, New York's premier Kentucky Derby prep race, the Wood Memorial. Very top of the show, we discussed this particular meet, Andy. Some of your lasting thoughts, lasting impressions, some of the bigger storylines from the winter meet about to conclude.
By the way, the 1 and 7 are covered in the pick 6.
Thanks.
I think we've seen some good racing. I think it's been a very interesting winter because we've had a lot of biases, which is unusual around here, which offers opportunities to bet horses that were hurt by the bias or bet against horses helped. I think there's been a lot of good handicapping puzzles, and I love, learning things about the game as things move on. I love horse racing. I love everything about horse racing. I mean, not everything. There are, you take the good with the bad, but I love the game. And it's been a fun winter, but let's face it, we're now getting to Belmont soon. We'll be on the turf at Aqueduct in a couple of weeks. We'll be in Saratoga. The Derby and Triple Crown is coming. There is so much to look forward to, and that's the way you feel as you head out of March into April.
Strong Wood Memorial.
I agree.
Strong Wood Memorial. Rabonic isn't winning this one.
No. No,
Mo
he's
Donegal.
not eligible, by the way. He's a 4-year-old.
He's a 4-year-old. 4-year-olds can't run on the wood?
No. Not that I know
It
of.
would take a better performance.
Yes,
My point.
I'm with
Kalesant, 9th and final. Last race of the winter meet of the season at Aqueduct. Here's John Ambrial.
And they're off. Mebs Webb from the inside. Now moving up is a Carly Hustle, and from the outside it's Red Pepper Grill along with Kalesant. Red Pepper Grill goes on with it to take the lead. Kalesant races in second, a little more than a length to Mebs Webb, who's now in third. Carly Hustle on the outside in fourth. Calabogie Sound is in fifth, 5 lengths to Super 27, who trails the field in sixth. It's Red Pepper Grill, the leader here, now by a length and a quarter. Kalesant on the outside in second. The quarter went in 24 and 1. Mebs Webb down at the rail in third. And then comes Carly Hustle, almost 3 lengths to Calabogie Sound and 5 more back to Super 27. The field is racing around the far turn with Red Pepper Grill leading here by 3/4 of a length. Kalesant is next in second. Then comes Mebs Webb, and on the outside, Carly Hustle. Carly Hustle has now moved up into second. Mebs Webb advances to third as Kalesant drops back to fourth. The half in 49 seconds. It is Red Pepper Grill with the lead into the stretch. Red Pepper Grill leads by a length and a half, now by 2, now by 2.5, and now by 3. Carly Hustle in second, and Mebs Webb is next in third. Red Pepper Grill pouring it on here in the stretch, and it will be Red Pepper Grill with Manny Franco to win here decisively. Carly Hustle was second. Mebs Webb finished third.
Another win for leading trainer Rudy Rodriguez. 2 on the afternoon. Red Pepper Grill, Manny Franco in the 9th and final at the Big A.
Winning like a 3 to 5 shot should.
Never in doubt.
I don't know. I thought Carly Hustle was making a run at her top of the stretch, but she got it done at 3 to 5.
Virginia bred. How about the meet for Rudy Rodriguez, a 3rd Aqueduct Winter Training title?
Nah, congrats to Rudy and congrats to all the winners today. I think that seals up, obviously Dylan Davis, Barton Stables wins the owner's title. I think that may have been the missing piece in the puzzle of every owner's title at NYRA.
Sounds about right.
Few years.
1-3-2. Jose Gomez 4 wins today. Up and coming apprentice. Manny Franco here with Red Pepper Grill. We'll wrap it all up when we come back. Still have live racing coming up from Oaklawn Park and a look ahead to the Arkansas Derby. Here, though, in the 9th and final, Red Pepper Grill, 3rd lifetime win, 2nd here at Aqueduct. Results when we return.
The sun shines bright on Caraconte. His first crops of racing age are showing brilliance on the racetrack with a high percentage of stakes winners. His versatility is evidenced by winners on all surfaces across the globe. And his offspring are lighting up the sales ring. With his biggest and best quality of books in the pipeline, the sun shines bright on this value sire. Caraconte, standing at Gainesway.
This is America's Day at the Races, as always, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Red Pepper Grill, co-owned by Rudy Rodriguez. Michael Imperio. Manny Franco, top of the stretch here. Opens up. She responds, right hand, goes on to a easy win in the nightcap.
Nice win by her. What can you say? You know, you got to beat the horses you're in against, and she was just better than these horses. Nice way to close out the meet for Manny Franco, who really closed this meet out in the last few weeks on a very, very good run. I'm looking forward to Manny having a successful year. I think we're going to, listen, it's going to get tougher. Obviously, you've got Jose and Irad Ortiz coming back. You got Joel Rosario. You got Flavien Prat. You got Luis Saez. You've got a colony that's going to get very tough. But Manny Franco, Kendrick Carmouche, Dylan Davis, Trevor McCarthy, they're not going to win the kind of way they're winning here, but they're going to win their share of races. They're very good riders.
Math time.
Okay, I'm going to say 100, 110, we'll go 5, 150, 600. I'm doing this quick. 600,000, 1,600, so $400. Oh my gosh, I paid 3 times the parlay. I closed out with 2 heavy favorites.
Seems like very Rain Man-esque about it, but always entertaining.
It's just math.
Count quick.
Multiply.
What do you think the biggest impact will be back out at going to Oakland? But Flavien Prat headed to New York. A lot of success in the mounts with Chad Brown when last year they started working together.
I'm going to tell you what's going to change. It's going to make it very hard for Irad Ortiz to have a superiority in the jockey colony, because he's going to be the one that's going to lose a lot of wins, I think. And it's going to help Joel Rosario, oddly, in that department, because Joel doesn't ride a lot for Chad Brown. So he's not going to lose wins in the way that Jose, to a certain extent, but also Irad. And they're going to ride for him, but they're not going to win as many races for him. And so in that respect, I think it's going to hurt their win count. I'm not holding any pity parties for them. They're going to do just fine. They're great riders. But I think that's going to be an effect. And listen, he can ride, too. It's not like he's just going to ride for Chad Brown. A lot of people are going to ride Flavien Prat.
Deepest riding colony in the country just got that much deeper here at Oakland. Very competitive riding colony. And there is Kelsey Hart with a win today. Mocha Kiss.
It's much like the colony here. Maggie's already up here. I mean, you lose a guy like me,
quickly.
but you gain Maggie Wolfenden. People are rushing to spend time with you, Lafitte.
Upgrade. Summer Shoes, 2-5, Chelsea Bailey.
I mean, this was some 8-5 morning line. If this horse runs her last race, she will lap this field.
Heavy favorite. Then there's Uchi, John Court.
That's kind of the noise you make if you bet on her. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, do you real?
The discrepancy between Summer Shoes and everyone else.
Based on the last race, honestly, if you were confident she was going to run within 3 lengths for her last race, she should be 1-9 in this race.
Odds-on favorite, Gary Stevens standing by. Gary, these are Arkansas breds. The significance of the Arkansas bred breeding program and the races that we see with the Arky breds here at Oakland.
Well, there are a lot of local people here in the state of Arkansas that breed strictly Arkansas breds, and it can be very lucrative. It's a minor investment. Some of the stallions, to get to them, are relatively low as compared to the higher-end stallions throughout the United States. So you get a horse like Summer Shoes, and she is something special, guys. We saw that when she won last time out. She's 1-5 right now. To me, this is the biggest lock any horse can get beat. We all know that this is the biggest lock I've seen at the meet right now if she runs anything like she did first time out. But getting back to the Arkansas breds and how important it is to Oakland Park itself is we had, I think, 4 Arkansas bred races yesterday. And again today, a number of Arkansas breds. And at this time of the meet, there are horses going elsewhere. There's other tracks that have opened up. Churchill Downs is now open for training. Obviously, Keeneland getting ready to start. Lone Star Park has opened up. Monmouth Park is to open up. So there are horses leaving to get acclimated to their new surroundings. So they're using more and more Arkansas-bred races. But there are a number of people from out of state that are now breeding Arkansas breds because of the prize money that's offered. If you get a good one, you've got a gold mine on your hands. And Summer Shoes could be a gold mine if she stays healthy and continues on the trajectory that she's on right now. So very important to the thoroughbred industry here in the state of Arkansas, having an Arkansas bred, and especially Oakland Park, guys.
I'm going to agree with Gary on that one. If she she on paper, listen, as he said, he's right. You know, we've seen it. Anything can happen in horse racing. And we've seen a lot of big favorites and good horses lose. And she's only run this one big race. Her first race was okay. This was a huge improvement. There's no guarantee ever they're going to run back to it, especially a horse that just ran the one race. But if she runs this race, I mean, it's like they're giving money away. It's just ridiculous.
12 lengths in the end. And you can see it coming at the top of the stretch. Other riders encouraging, asking their mounts to pick it up. And Summer Shoes just cruising, giving her cue, and she wins by double digits.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's going to win by more. I know you're saying that, but she ran. I mean, to put it into perspective, let's just put it in perspective. She ran an 81 Beyer. Let's buy her speed figures, okay? The Horse of the Rail, I believe, has the second best recent Beyer. It was 61. That's 20 points. It's about 2.4 points a length for 6 furlongs. So that's the equivalent of 8.5 lengths, okay? The 2 horses coming off of 41, but she can run 60 to 63, 8 lengths. The 3 is running 44s, 51s, 49. So now we're about 12 and 13 lengths. The 4, who was 7 to 2 in the morning line, for whatever reason, she's coming off a 52, 56, and a 50. So that's about 10 or 11 lengths. And Uchi's last race was a 30. So that is 20-plus lengths. So there's a lot of room for error here. She could easily run. I'm saying she could run 5 lengths worse than she ran last time and still win this race comfortably.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big margin of error. And on the other hand, she's 1 to 9. If you think for whatever reason you don't trust her to run back to it and you have some idea on somebody else, you're supposed to dive into the pool. I'm not that guy in this particular circumstance.
Feels like a mismatch. No such thing as a sure thing. But, yeah, the discrepancy between Summer Shoes and everyone else to this point, Chelsea Bailey, in the 9th race yesterday, lost an absolute heartbreaker. Heartbreaker. And here on a 1 to 9 shot, she rides a lot of long shots, Chelsea Bailey, and mixing it up in this very deep, difficult jockey colony. But here on a 1 to 9 shot, Summer Shoes, she has to break.
Right.
She has to break.
That's always the most important. Look at our stake race here today. The one stumbles. Yep. The break is gonna determine so much after the race. She breaks. I mean, and I want her to win. You remark on Chelsea Bailey, and we talked about this yesterday. It's so great, the success of the women riders at Oaklawn. It's great to see. And she's ridden well here, and you can see the improvement. I say Kelsey Hart as well. Really, from last year to this year, I remember last year thinking, you saw her on a horse, she's a little skeptical. This year, feel like no problem at all. I mean, it's tough to get those kind of mounts. I mean, and for Chelsea Bailey, this has got to be exciting to be riding a horse like this.
A win earlier today, Kelsey Har. All right, so let's say you're hell-bent on playing the race. Like, how do you turn a profit? How do you play this race?
Well, I guess the question becomes, in order to play a race like this, I think you want to have an opinion against, say, the second choice, if you did, and try to bet tries, okay? And let's just say, for argument's sake, you were against the 1. You play a try box 5 with the 2, 3, and 4, and you press probably the 2, in my esteem, cutting back to be the second place finisher in here. And you bet 5 with 2 with 3, 4. Now, I'm not saying I'm against the 1. That's what I would do. I don't particularly love the 1, by the way, in this race. I know Asmussen won off the claim earlier today. His numbers off the claim are not particularly good. You could cement an exacta. I'd play tries and try to get cute.
Try to get cute.
I think the 2 will be second here. That's my prediction.
Tap it right, Ricardo Santana. Summer Shoes 1 to 9. 6 days till the Arkansas Derby. Secret Oath. We the People. Undefeated We the People. Final prep for the Kentucky Derby, different on the calendar. Typically a 3-week window between the Arkansas Derby and the Kentucky Derby. Now 5 weeks for the first time. We'll be on site. Live coverage of the Arkansas Derby. $1.25 million purse. Wayne Lucas won the Arkansas Derby with a filly in '84. Althea, can he do it again? Find out Saturday evening at Oaklawn Park. Let's see what Summer Shoes does here. As the 1 to 9 favorite in the 8th. Filing into the gate, Vic Stauffer standing by with a live call.
They're at the post. They're off. Uchi and Summer Shoes break well. Heated argument away in third. Then comes a Tap It Right, followed by Mocha Kiss, and the trailer is Dutch Treat. It is Uchi to cross and clear up the backstretch, and she's very fast. Uchi leads a length and a half. Summer Shoes is 3 deep, and Mocha Kiss going right with her. And now these two will confront Uchi up the backstretch. Mocha Kiss and Summer Shoes run right on by, and Uchi's now back to third. Heated argument is fourth with 3 lengths to make up. Then Tap It Right. Dutch Treat is the trailer of the 6 Arkansas breds, and Summer Shoes and Mocha Kiss are matching strides. Mocha Kiss is inside. Summer Shoes is outside. Tap It Right is about to move outside of Heated Argument and take third. And at the top of the stretch, Summer Shoes leads by a half length. It's 5 back to Dutch Treat, top of the stretch, Summer Shoes and a Mocha Kiss still 1-2. Summer Shoes to the final furlong, leads now by a full length and a half from Mocha Kiss in second. Then Heated Argument, Tap It Right and Dutch Treat, but now Summer Shoes is sprinting away and she's 3 in front. Mocha Kiss is running her heart out, but she's just second best to a good-looking filly, Summer Shoes. Summer Shoes won by 2. Mocha Kiss second. Heated Argument third. Dutch Treat finished fourth.
Not a devastating 12-length win, but a victory. Summer Shoes delivers back-to-back wins. Chelsea Bailey in the saddle, 1-5 at post time.
And she was confidently handled in here, maybe a little too confidently handled. I think that Mocha Kiss ran an improved race in here, and she didn't run back to her 81 buyer in all likelihood. But as we said, when you have that kind of cushion, when you have a potential 8 to 10 length cushion, you could run maybe 3 or 4 lengths worse
and still do that.
Win by a few lengths. That's why she was a heavy favorite, and she got it done. Congrats to the Connections and Chelsea Bailey.
Tom Swearingen won a lot of races together. This one, John Carver, winning owner. Summer Shoes. Results coming up, 8th race. Oaklawn, why do you get to leave early?
Maggie said, I haven't got a chance to spend any time with Lafitte this weekend, and she gave me $20.
We
and I'll do
worked
anything
like 4
for
hours
$20.
together on Thursdays. It's like a management thing.
How much can you expect me to take? I don't make that much money, okay? You know, I'm used to Greg Wolf, and I get stuck with you for a few days. It's been
Andy
a pleasure.
Serling,
It has been a great
everyone,
pleasure. It has.
Good stuff.
I look
Andy
forward to seeing you
Serling.
soon.
Stepping aside, Maggie Wolfendale joining me on the set to wind things down here at Oaklawn Park. We'll be right back. You're watching America's Day at the Races.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Solomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. 775,000. Thank you.
The Fasig-Tipton Gulfstream Sale. We're bringing the heat to Miami once again with a catalog of selected 2-year-olds in training. Recent stars include Grade 1 winner Yaupon, plus graded stakes winners Independence Hall, Art of Almost, Center Isle, and Cezanne. Burning up the dirt track with selected juveniles by the nation's hottest sires. The Fasig-Tipton Gulfstream Sale. Selected 2-year-olds in training, March 30th in Hallandale Beach, Florida. Where will you be?
If you're looking into racing partnerships, you should know they're not all the same. When you partner with Bond Racing Stables, you become a member of a growing family of racing enthusiasts, all guided by 3 generations of experience in thoroughbred breeding, training, and racing. Share in the excitement at Saratoga and Belmont Park, where we've graced a winner's circle with winners like Giacosa, who was bred, born, and raised here at our Song Hill Farm. Get more than just a partnership. Become a member of the Bond Racing family. 3 generations of thoroughbred excellence.
How does horse racing support New York's economy? It's responsible for 19,000 jobs and more than $3 billion in annual statewide economic impact. These good-paying jobs support working families across the state and sustain thousands of small businesses both on and off the track. Horse racing in New York means jobs and opportunities now and in the future. We are New York Horse Racing.
And it's Untappable now up to take them on. Untappable, Aya Tapper battling back along the inside, and now here comes Don't Tell Sophia. Don't Tell Sophia coming fast, but it's Untappable in front. Untappable Untappable the leader. Don't Tell Sophia flying on the outside. Untappable's going to get there. Untappable has won it.
Special filly, Untappable, special jockey. Rosie Napravnik becoming only the second female jockey to win a Breeders' Cup race with Untappable back in 2014. Also won a pair of Kentucky Oaks, as I am joined by Maggie Wolfendale on the set. Rosie Napravnik, who you've known for a long time. She's been retired for a few years now, but just a riding force and winning at the very highest level in thoroughbred racing.
Well, you had that fateful interview right after that race when she announced that she was retiring to become a mother. And yes, I've known Rosie since before she started riding, when she was galloping horses for the late Dickie Small in Maryland. And she rode a lot of winners for my father growing up. And she, like Julie Crone, especially Rosie, you would have never known she was a female on the back of a horse because she was so strong, she folded up so well, and she's just the ultimate horsewoman. And now she has her own business where she takes former racehorses and retrains them to be sport horses. And I'm hoping that I was going down the rabbit hole of looking through her Equibase, results, and saw many horses that she rode for my dad, and to one of the horses that she had, that she's retired now, Old Ironsides was one of the first horses that she won on, and he is still a part of the Napravnik hyphenated Sharp family.
Only woman to have ridden in all 3 Triple Crown races. Maggie, what was it like knowing her as long as you did, watching her develop and having that kind of success, the notoriety that she had as she went on through her career?
You kind of knew it, because also Rosie, when she was riding, was fearless, was the ultimate competitor, and she was tough. I mean, she was stony, for a lack of a better way to put it. I mean, there was no cracking her. And what's funny is then in retirement, Lafitte, she's the cuddly teddy bear. I remember, having our kids at a Mardi Gras parade, and her just looking over to me and saying, "I just love being a mom." And that's something that, knowing her when she was riding, I would have never thought she would say.
Well, a fierce competitor, so talented, riding horses that good for Steve Asmussen. It was at that time, it was more important for her to start her family. And as good as her career was going, it wasn't as if she had reached a point in her career where things weren't going as good. She had just won the Breeders' Cup Distaff, but it was clear what was more important to her. And walking away from a career, we'd still be discussing Rosie Napravnik as one of the top riders in the country.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that she would still be at the top. She'd probably be winning another Fairgrounds meet title as we speak. I commend her in her bravery to step away from riding and to raise her 2 young boys with husband, trainer Joe Sharp. And what a life that they have created for themselves.
Great moment today in the winner's circle with Kendrick Carmouche and Dylan Davis. Dylan Davis' first New York Racing Association riding title, and the just class personified in that moment with Kendrick Carmouche. What was it like being down there with that?
Oh, well, Kendrick is just such a great guy. Another person that I've known for years upon years, and just always so open and always so happy for people. And you could tell, and he knew what he was doing. He said, Dylan, wait here. And I didn't even know what he was doing. I'm like, why are you making him wait? And then he congratulated him. It just shows his class, because for him to not win it last year, I'm sure it was tough to take.
Real tough. We're saying goodbye to our SNY viewers. Coverage continues on Fox Sports 1. 9th race at Oaklawn is next.
Oaklawn Park Saturday. Top-ranked 3-year-olds face off in the $1,250,000 Grade 1 Arkansas Derby, the final leg of the Kentucky Derby Prep Series at Oaklawn Park. Watch and play the Arkansas Derby Saturday live on FS1.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. As always, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual. Unusually well. Maggie, you ready to hit the road?
Let's do it.
Arkansas bound.
Yeah, looking forward to it. You, me, Gary,
The filly.
and a lot of nice horses, including Secret Oath.
Secret Oath taking on the boys, the Arkansas Derby, with Secret Oath taking on the Colts next Saturday. Keep up with all the action from Oaklawn with America's Day at the Races on FS2 starting at 1 and on FS1 starting at 4 Eastern. Take a look at the field drawn earlier today. Mile and an eighth, 170 Derby points, 100 to the winner. Field of 9 and Secret Oath. Luis Contreras for D. Wayne Lucas has drawn post position number 6. The filly, Gary Stevens, still with us. Gary, I can only imagine that you've been asked about this 100 times this week, having won a Kentucky Derby with a filly in winning colors. What does it take at this stage for a filly to beat the boys at this level?
Well, it takes everything that she's got. She's got tactical speed. She can pounce. She pounces quick, and she's a powerful filly with a beautiful long stride. Listen, winning colors, riding on the biggest stage of all, the Kentucky Derby. With Wayne Lucas, you've got to have a ton of confidence. He'd had success with Althea in the Arkansas Derby in the past prior to me riding winning colors. He'd had success with Lady Secret running against the boys. He used to run a lot of quarter horses against the boys. You see it more and more often. But Wayne has never shied away from putting the fillies against the boys. And I knew what I was sitting on that day going into the Kentucky Derby. I felt it in the Santa Anita Derby. I really actually feel that at Santa Anita Derby was her best race of her career. She came back, wins the Kentucky Derby. He had Serena's Song, went on and beat the boys in the Haskell. Later on, after she competed in the Kentucky Derby, was beaten by her stablemate Thunder Gulch that year in 1995. But Wayne's had a lot of success with fillies over the years, and I have every reason to believe this filly has the right tools to continue on. They've had the draw. She had a great workout the other morning, just a breezing type of workout where she went 101. It was a controlled work. Wayne said that he was going to let her stretch her legs, let her use her stride on Wednesday, let her breeze a little bit, just open gallop through the stretch and take a little bit of the edge off of her, so more or less a little bit of a blowout, old school. I saw her going out of the back to the track this morning, leaving the barn. She was on her toes, she was prancing, did not look like a filly that had just worked a day before or 2 days before. So she's on top of her game right now. The draw is over with. I think Wayne can take a deep breath right now. And one thing about it, Wayne never gets nervous. I was sitting in his office this morning when he called the racing office to make the entry for Secret Oath. And it was sort of funny. He called Carmen Bish in the racing office. He said, Carmen, I'd like to make an entry here. He said, go to the 9th race, the Fantasy Stakes. And he hesitated, and he said, no. He said, I think it's the 10th race, the Arkansas Derby. Let's go ahead and put Secret Oath in there. I said, Wayne, you had me going for a second. I thought he was throwing a curveball at me. But, no, she's entered, and she's locked and loaded, and we should see a great race on the weekend, guys.
It's an intriguing story, Gary. It's one that anyone can relate to, whether they follow horse racing or not. The filly taking on the boys. Rachel Alexandra, Zenyatta. What's the buzz like at Oaklawn 6 days out?
Well, everybody, I mean, it's all the hotels are sold out right now. Reservations are taken at most of the nice restaurants, all the restaurants here in Arkansas, and there's plenty of them. I'll guarantee you that in the city of Hot Springs. But Wayne asked me this morning, he said, what price do you think she's going to be, like 5 to 1? And I says, no, there's no way. I said, every woman, not only in Hot Springs, Arkansas, but all of Arkansas, and probably everybody that's watching our program, they're going to be betting on the filly the same way as they did winning colors, guys. I think she's going to possibly be overbet a little bit, if there's such a thing, but she'll go off favorite or co-favorite, I believe.
Secret Oath, it's hard to remove the sentiment. Again, everybody loves this story, but if you look at it just on paper, Maggie, like how does she stack up with the male competition she'll be facing?
Pretty darn well, Lafitte. And she has just dominated her own age and sex as of late. And what I love about her, too, is in those races, she actually had some trouble where she had to kind of tap on the brakes a bit, regroup herself, and still she had a 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th gear. So she is very impressive. Her main competition is We the People, but he is completely untested. So we don't know how good he is. He did draw the far outside. there is going a mile and an eighth there at Oaklawn, a little bit more of a run to the turn than the mile and a 16th races, but still, he's going to have to work out the right kind of trip. So the jaw didn't do him any favors. I do think that Secret Oath drew favorably.
She has that instant acceleration, like a turf horse, but she does it on dirt. And then you have the more traditional Arkansas Derby prep, the Rebel. We were there for that. As it started to pour, track was listed as fast, but there was a lot of moisture on it. In the end, it was a 75-1 shot in the form of Un Ojo, the one-eyed wonder, and Barbara Road, who has finished second in the Smarty Jones, second in the Southwest, third in the Rebel Stakes, charging late. How productive of a heat do you think this will wind up being, Maggie?
None. I really, I am somewhat partial to Un Ojo because he's a New York bred, and the poor guy's only run against New York breds, I think, once in his entire career as a New York bred stake here on the cusp of turning 3. I don't know, Lafitte. Both of the preps so far, the Southwest and the Rebel, have proven to be somewhat slower races, somewhat, just lackluster. And from a visual standpoint, none of these horses really standing out to you. Yes, Barbara Road, he does tend to give himself a little too much to do, and maybe with the extra ground, it mitigates that a bit and makes him, finish a bit closer. He at least has been the most consistent type, though.
Lunch pail type horse, shows up every time. Still looking for that first win this year, and Un Ojo, 75-1 bomb in that Rebel. And again, there's something about a one-eyed racehorse America falls in love with. I remember Todd Pletcher, who ran Patch in the Kentucky Derby. He's like, he should be 40-1. He wound up being 14-1 because of it. Pollard's Vision, another one, Maggie, a one-eyed racehorse that wound up running in the Kentucky Derby, and there is Pollard's Vision at Old Friend.
It's funny, both of these horses campaigned from the Todd Pletcher barn, and Pollard's Vision getting a nice little wither scratch from Michael Blowen, who runs and owns Old Friend's farm. And Pollard's Vision, he was a good racehorse. I mean, he was one that showed up. He's also been a somewhat of a successful sire, if not broodmare sire, at the end of the day. And Patch, he's at Old Friends as well. He's a very handsome horse. He was one that his eyes completely gone, where Pollard's Vision, he just had, an eye that just never developed.
Yeah.
Right. But both these horses dealing with that from a young age, so they really didn't have anything to overcome. They were used to it. So it just goes to show you, I've been around some cool one-eyed horses in my day too, working with them hands-on, and they, like people that might be, blind or something, develop an extra sense. I remember this one horse, he was missing an eye on his left side, and you could call his name and not be on the side he could see, and he would just turn his head and he'd know exactly where you were. So they're very cool horses to be around too.
Is there an added challenge for a rider in races? In terms of compensation?
I don't think so when they've had it for so long, when they're so used to it. Some horses, they'll have an injury to an eye and they'll lose their eye maybe mid-career, and sometimes that poses a problem. But horses that have dealt with it from, the ground up in their training, it's usually not that much of a hindrance, other than they're the competitive type and you want to aim them at a horse. Maybe that poses a problem.
Un Ojo, a 75-1 Rebel winner. How will he build on that performance? Barbara Road, can he get that first win as a 3-year-old? So many storylines to follow. And Secret Oath, the filly, take it on the boys. Live coverage, Fox Sports 1 for the Arkansas Derby next Saturday. We'll have it for you. Keep prep for the Kentucky Derby, $1.25 million purse. It's the biggest race, the marquee event at Oaklawn every season. Smarty Jones, Curlin, Afleet Alex, American Pharoah, some of the recent winners of the Arkansas Derby, to go on to bigger and better in the Triple Crown. Can't wait for the Arkansas Derby next Saturday. Meantime, this 9th race horse, as you saw in the paddock. Riders up shortly. You see the field and updated odds, wide open. Post-parade. And this 9th race from Oaklawn as we wind things down on America's Day at the Races. The 9th and final in Hot Springs when we come back.
starts spreading the news. If you're looking to win in New York, then breed in New York. To War Dancer, the millionaire son of Warfront, and New York's #1 sire of 3-year-olds. Breed to a proven performer, the #1 second crop sire at the Saratoga meet with multiple winners at Belmont and Aqueduct. Earn double the New York Breeders' Awards and participate in the New York Stallion Series with $2 million in purses. War Dancer, proud to stand in New York. Visit wardancerstud.com.
The Thoroughbred Owner Conference is back in person for the first time in 3 years and is being held in the new 1863 Club at Saratoga Racecourse, July 25th and 26th. Attendees enjoy 9 ownership topics with an impressive list of speakers, along with social events to meet other owners and network, an opening reception at the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame, a conference dinner, and an afternoon of racing at Saratoga. It's the 2022 Thoroughbred Owner Conference, July 25th and 26th. See you in Saratoga.
Run Happy was a #1 second crop sire by graded stakes winners and earnings. Run Happy is represented by Smile Happy, the Kentucky Derby individual future pool favorite. A leading dirt sire and now with an exciting Kentucky Derby hopeful. Call Bernie Sams now and book your mare to Eclipse champion Run Happy right now. Run Happy standing in stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Live look, Oaklawn Park. America's Day at the Races continues.
You're going to be in one
Ninth and
of
final.
those rooms.
One of
aren't
them.
you? Yeah.
I'll be, I was on the 4th floor, I think, last time. It is so cool being able to see the horses train in the morning.
Your coffee.
Fire up your NyraBets account, hang out in your hotel room, watch the races live from your window.
Yeah,
Awesome.
what a room service.
How about this board?
4 7-2 shots. You
7
hardly,
horse field.
I mean, that's a definition of a wide open affair.
Why, regardless of who you like, you're getting your number. The Queen's Jewels and Ricardo Santana.
Comes out of a live race, protected both times, protected again here. Kershaw came back to win with an 85.
Ribbons and medals, Giovanni Franco.
I thought ran well last time. Surged late, did get the right kind of pace to close into. We'll see what kind of setup he gets today, though.
Another 7-2 shot, don't forget.
Yeah, this guy did finish second behind the favored one for Richie last time. Had to deal with traffic early, so he was clearly second best, but did have some trouble.
Speaking of Rosina Pravnik, wild behavior for Joe Sharp.
Looks to be one of the speeds in here. Could be the quickest early, and we'll see if he uses that to his advantage.
Freudian Fate, Kelsey Haar looking for a second win this afternoon. Stretch, there he is.
He's a New York bred, and it's kind of funny. He's left New York. Yeah, he won a maiden 25, but he's run figures fast enough to win a state bred A other than. We'll see how he does in this open starter off the claim.
Missed the pronunciation on this one.
Seish.
Seish.
Yeah, I think I was hosting last time he ran.
Chelsea Bailey looking for back-to-back wins.
Yeah, he graduates out of that non-3 for 10. This is a much tougher spot.
Ultimate pictured 4-time winner David Cabrera.
Seems like a horse that didn't love a wet sealed track last time. Getting back to a fast track, look at the numbers before. 80, 85, 80. This guy's a player.
7 of them wide open. 6 furlong sprint. Gary Stevens, the complexion of the race really changing with the absence of Cumberland Avenue, the morning line favorite. Out.
Absolutely, it changed. And Robertino Diodoro, the trainer of Cumberland Avenue, in a tight battle with Steve Asmussen for leading rider right now, scratching this horse. I think he was probably afraid that he was going to lose this. Well, it's actually a starter's race, so he wasn't going to lose. So he's going to lose the horse by claim. These horses are protected, but I think Ribbons and Medals is logical here. If he runs back to his last race, his race became much easier with the scratch of Cumberland Avenue. It's still a double tough race. Don't forget the 3 horse. I like his chances in here. It's got a little bit of speed to get good position, and then Ultimate, I think, makes the most sense to me, the 7-horse, and the reason for that, he ran poorly last time, but he's run on wet tracks twice and didn't perform too well. If you go back to his last 2 races, his numbers there, he had a first and a second in those races. His Beyer figures were tops of any of the horses in here. So Ultimate would be my ultimate selection in here if I was betting, which I'm not. Guys?
At 3-1. Gary's sitting this one out. But, yeah, look, if you draw a line through that race, and I know a lot of handicappers don't like to simply ignore races, but it was in the mud. Ultimate, as Gary mentioned, his form prior, really good.
He looks like a big, heavy horse, though, that isn't the lightest on his feet. So it makes total sense that he doesn't love a wet track. I like him for the class relief. Wish I had seen a little bit more energy from him in that warm-up there, as the one does look pretty energetic, wanting to do a bit more with Ricardo Santana. Horse, the Queen's Jewels, that actually ran on the NYRA circuit for a good time. This guy, 50th start of his career. I suppose it is a positive that they take advantage of this pretty cool rule for claiming outfits that they get to protect a horse twice if they're coming off a little bit of a break. And yet again, he's protected.
Turn back, JK. Turn back with the Queen's Jewels.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as obsessed as Andy is, but he's on the train, so he's not listening to this anyways. I like the one, Queen Jewels. This is a horse that, if you look at the past performances, you'll see first off the claim, in Tom Van Berg's barn. Didn't look like he ran that well, but that was off of a little bit of a break, so there's an excuse that's kind of built in there. Then you go a little bit higher to the next race, the last race. It was going a little bit further, going the mile and a 16th. So that was actually one of his best races in recent form, which makes me realize that maybe this horse has improved now switching to Van Berg's barn. And so although the horse was beaten 9 and didn't really make much of an impact on the race, I do think there was an improvement there. So I'm going to go with the one, Queen's Jewels, and if I was betting this race, I would bet the one, and I am betting this race.
He is betting this race.
JK, what do you think the odds are that Andy is actually listening on the train, that he has his phone open
We'll
to NYRA
all
bets?
3 hear about it if it is.
There's 2 scenarios. There's 2 scenarios. One is he's obsessively listening so he can get mad at us for talking about him. Or 2, he's got absolutely no interest. I'm going to go with 2, no interest, but we'll see.
It's 50-50. But it's funny, the Queen's Jewels, obviously since he ran around here, I have notes on him. My last note with him, Lafitte, love turn back. So
see?
There we go.
Queen's Jewel on the turn back. JK, do you have an early opinion? Is he out? He checked out. Had enough of our nonsense.
I don't blame him.
An early thought on the Arkansas Derby.
My early thought?
Well, I asked you. I have nobody else to ask now. I have like 2 hours to spend with you in the car on Thursday. So
I don't want to talk about horses with you. Okay, we do enough of that. I'm going to talk about food and what we're going to eat.
Great
I don't like the fact that
Springs.
Gary said that there's no reservations open.
That's
You're going to have to pull your weight a little bit.
A lot of good that'll do you.
Hey, look. He's Lafitte Pinkai.
Lot of good.
Give him a reservation.
Mistaken identity might help. They're like, Junior? This guy, no.
No, I got the 3.
Nothing. No. Come back tomorrow.
But there are very good restaurants. But yes, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just thinking it was a conversation and these things that kind of stick with you. Listening to a radio show, Steve Bick at the races, Ron Moquette was a guest. And he mentioned if I could train one horse on the Oaklawn backside, a 3-year-old, he said, we the people.
Yeah.
I said, who?
Right.
He'd only raced. This was before his second race. That's kind of stuck.
I hear you. And he has been – I love Secret Oath. I've loved her, since I saw her come back as a 3-year-old and what she's done on the racetrack. But of her male counterparts – he is by far the most impressive and the most exciting. And, he has that lovely pedigree. Being by constitution, they have proven time and time again that the longer that they ultimately get to go, sometimes the better that they become. And he's going to have to work for it, though. This is the real test with him. And watching him train, though, he really does look like a quality animal.
Don't get me wrong, because I'm not making a comparison. I am not comparing We the People to Triple Crown winner Justifying.
Yeah.
Look at the dates. Very similar. Justify debuted somewhere around mid-February. We call it Justify Day, going back to when we had the Curse of the Apollo. No horse could possibly win the Kentucky Derby without a race at 2, and then Justify came around. First career start in February as a 3-year-old. Second one in March. Won the Santa Anita Derby. Won the rest is history. Very similar, just the dates as far as when We the People first debuted, had his second career start, and now he'll have his third, and based upon what he does, either qualify or not qualify for the Kentucky Derby. But just because a Justify did it doesn't mean it's easily done. I think because of it, we kind of readily dismiss experience as if it doesn't matter. It still does matter. And it takes a really special racehorse to do what We the People is trying to do for Rudy Brissett. But he looks like he has all the talent in the world.
I'm just hoping that he sticks around longer after the Triple Crown Series than Justify. That's all I'm hoping for. Because, like Andy was saying earlier on the show, the newly turned 4-year-olds, they are breathing new life into the handicap division, which has been, albeit somewhat lackluster in recent years. And I'm excited to see what we have on tap with the Life is Good, with Hot Rod Charlie.
Country Grammar, Midnight Bourbon still.
Right. And we'll see. I haven't gotten as excited maybe about this 3-year-old crop than I did the ones last year, but we're still 6 weeks away from
I feel like, so we saw Epicenter
he
do
was
what
by
he
far
did
the most
yesterday,
impressive
showing
so
a new dimension, rating comfortably, not needing to be in front and dictating. I think we're going to see those performances in this final round where the cream separates and the superstar performances, and that's why we're so excited for next week in the Arkansas Derby.
I love what Steve Asmussen had to say too about Epicenter after the loss in the LeCompte, that it made him grow up, it made him turn into a man, and you could see that on the racetrack yesterday.
Said the same thing about Curlin after the Derby, going into the Preakness.
Whoops.
And look what the modern day Big Red did in the Preakness.
He did.
Post time here for the 9th. Vic Stauffer standing by.
They're at the post. They're off. The Queen's Jewels, Wild Behavior, and Freudian Fate all break well. Don't forget away in a 4th, then Ribbons and Medals and Ultimate, and the trailer is Seiche. Match racing up the backstretch, and look at them fly. Wild Behavior and the Queen's Jewels, and they could not be going any faster. Wild Behavior's a neck in front. The Queen's Jewels is 2nd, and now Wild Behavior is going to clear off and lead by a full length and a half. Then it's 4 legs further back to Don't Forget, Ribbons and Medals, and Freudian Fate. Another 6 back to the 2 trailers, Ultimate and Seiche, and Wild Behavior has won the early duel, but can he win the war? Wild Behavior to the quarter pole with a 2-length lead. A resurgent, the Queen's Jewels, is after him in 2nd. Don't Forget stays at the rail 3rd for Vasquez. 2.5 back to Freudian Fate, Ribbons and Medals next, and Wild Behavior is the one to catch. He's got a 2-length lead. Now Don't Forget begins to run after him, and you better take a look at Don't Forget. He's on the move outside of Wild Behavior. Don't Forget, the Queen's Jewels is still very much part of this battle, and Don't Forget puts his head in front. Wild Behavior, the Queen's Jewels, Don't Forget in front. Don't Forget won by 2. The Queen's Jewels was 2nd, Wild Behavior 3rd, Ultimate finished 4th.
Don't Forget driving finish, striking in the 9th race, Oaklawn Park.
Yeah, this guy had a little bit of trouble in his last race. Today, he gets a great trip, sitting off what was a early pace duel, yet those 2 horses stuck around. He was sitting right behind them, saving ground, tipped out around that pace setter in Wild Behavior, and he was ready to pounce.
Finishing strong, Don't Forget. 7-2 at post time. Wide open betting board. They were all 7-2, 7-2 winner here, Don't Forget. And wins power. It was a sharp win.
Yeah, Ramon Vasquez, he is having, just the year, kind of the full circle year with the success that he had with Lone Rock to boot. He's kind of putting himself on the map as of late.
Un Ojo.
Right.
Pulled off the 75-1 upset. We'll ride him in the Arkansas Derby. And then we focus on all the 3-year-olds and the Derby preps. But then you have the sprinters as well. What about what we saw yesterday? A 3-year-old filly, Pretty Birdie, in the Purple Martin, and the way she broke coming out of the starting gate. I mean, like a shot out of a cannon. Built that lead and turning for home in complete command.
You could tell she was never losing this race, Lafitte, with the ears. The ears were
The
up
ears
the
tell the story.
whole way. And it was good because her last two efforts, yes, going back to the stake race in Saratoga where something went amiss. And so she was put on the shelf. She broke very alertly, took some pressure in the Dixie Belle, and just came up short like she needed a race. But not yesterday in the Purple Martin. She dominated. We saw a somewhat improved run from the Spinaway winner in Wicked Halo, but still not quite getting back to the promise that she showed
Yes.
in her 2-year-old season.
A 95 Beyer speed figure.
Yeah.
Fast. Best performance we've seen from Pretty Birdie.
Yep.
Norm Cassie, pictured sunglasses. Big moment for him. Gadet Cassie. And we were waiting for a break upward. Like, we were talking about the sprinters. She might be one of the best 3-year-old fillies in the. And then she goes ahead and does that. And stepping forward with that kind of performance, good enough if she continues to improve to compete at the highest level with 3-year-old filly sprinters.
That is a fast number for a young 3-year-old sprinting filly. She's an exciting prospect. Hopefully she stays sound and healthy throughout the year. And so nice to see her campaigned in those Mary Lou Whitney silks.
Yesterday, Pretty Birdie in the Purple Martin. Echo Zulu making her long-awaited return at Fairgrounds in the Fairgrounds Oaks. Long time off. Undefeated coming in. 3-time Grade 1 winner. A champion. A Breeders' Cup winner. And in for a fight through that long stretch at Fairgrounds yesterday, Maggie.
This was the slowest race she's ever run, which is saying a lot because she was running 90 Beyers throughout her 2-year-old season. Now, maybe it was a long layoff. She had an abbreviated, or I should say a longer break than maybe a lot of these other 3-year-old fillies. Maybe she needed the race. In Connection, who almost ran her down, she had the prep race in which she didn't run that well in. The big question is, does she go on from here? She's going to have to go on from here. Was she just a 2-year-old? There's always that lingering in your mind because from my vantage point, it doesn't look as though she's grown up that much.
A little disconcerting just from that observation alone. Yes?
Yeah. Absolutely, and that's kind of the one thing you look for with horses that don't train on.
And
don't go from 2 to 3.
All the time off. She had last raced early November Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. That was her first start this year. Taxing race. Now coming back, the Kentucky Oaks is next.
Yeah, that's a big ask, and depending on what Secret Oath does to next Saturday and where they end up sending her, she looks better than Echo Zulu at this point.
See what happens with her moving forward as she does get another victory. Echo Zulu results in race 9. Oaklawn, don't forget, $7 here. 9 up and 9 down from Oaklawn Park. Up next on Fox Sports 1. Don't know how I feel about this, Maggie. USA Panama. Panamanian. USA Panama World Cup qualifying. A victory by the U.S. and it's on to the World Cup. That's next on Fox Sports 1. Closing day, Winter Meet Aqueduct. Yo Cuz, sensational in the featured event. How about summer shoes at Oaklawn and Chelsea Bailey in the feature at Oaklawn Park? What will that filly do next Saturday at Oaklawn Park? Secret Oath, the filly tackling the boys in the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. Have a great night, everyone.